Oh, I'm moving a little bit closer. Okay. Wow, the camera shot is it too close? It's closer than usual. Anyways, welcome guys to Greatest League Talkshow pre-show. I'm Scarra. I'm sure you know who I am. I'm here with the lovely Josh.
What's up, guys?
And we're here to present to you just a great pre-show before Mark gets over here.
Yep. Greatest League Talkshow where we talk about LCS, but until Mark gets here, we just talk about whatever the fuck we feel like.
Which actually then translates into we're talking about Evo.
Let's go. Let's go.
So like I've actually been watching some Evo here and there. Every year I'm like not hyped about fighting games, right? Until we get to Evo, and then when Evo happens, I'm just like, oh shit. Games I don't even play, I don't even hear of before this event, like Guilty Gear. I literally have not seen a single second of Guilty Gear till this Evo event. And then I'm watching, I'm just like, oh my god, it looks sick.
For all the people out there who have no idea what Evo is like Worlds for fighting games as a whole. Like, it is the premier tournament where people get like really, really hyped, and it's the thing that the entire fighting game community, and Smash, if you don't consider that FGC, all come together in this one huge event, and that's going on right now. And oh my god, like every year I go and watch random finals of different games, and I get super hyped to watch them. I was there at Guilty Gear X3rd, whatever, last year, and that was an amazing thing. MKX was amazing. It was an incredible event, and I'm actually really sad that I wasn't there this year.
I've actually never been to an Evo event. Like one of the best things about Evo is they hold it in Las Vegas. So like when all the fighting game players are like, oh man, we messed up, you know, it just didn't work out, they just go and gamble. They watch the event or they go to gamble. So it's like the perfect city to hold something like
Las Vegas just tends to be a great venue for things because exactly, you can scrub out, O2 scrub out, and then you go gamble. It's great. It's great.
Anyways, I know a lot of people last week asked us about Rift Rivals. Where's our Rift Rivals episode? Unfortunately, we didn't have one because I found out pretty last minute that I was going to an event, and it's something that like I had known before, but it just kind of snuck up on me. Forgot to warn Mark about it, and he asked around. He asked like 5 or 6 different people. No one could be on the show, and so without a co-host, we decided to just scrap the Rift Rivals episode, which we were going to hold for the finals. Additionally, we're not going to go back for it because I personally have not watched it, and I think that it's like more of a timely thing, and so it's just gone. Like it's not coming back. Like TLDR, NA is just too good. Like EU right now, EU right now needs some work. That's all you need to know about Rift Rivals because we would have just covered the finals, and I heard the finals is just like brutally one-sided.
Yeah. It was pretty. It was like so brutal that even Reddit just was like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it.
Because like the thing is, it's like I love to watch NA win.
Yeah, of course.
But like I want it to be like more competitive. If it's just like a 3-0, I think we're up. I think there were 16 games, 18 games he played. It was 12-6.
Yeah, you don't want to see an adult beat up a child. Like
exactly,
it makes you uncomfortable.
And so like I was super hyped day one, pretty hyped the group stage, and like. As we just kept winning, I just stopped getting less hype. I'm like, at some point, dude, EU's gonna start winning, right? Like, and then that one game where Fnatic got their god comp, they got the Shen top, the Kennen AD, the Camille support, and they just get like annihilated. Like Partha was like, I looked at their comp, I'm like, why does EU run this comp? I look at Partha was probably like salivating because he got like the ultimate counter comp, and I was like, okay, so TSM just wins.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Fnatic doesn't play Caitlyn.
Oh god, it was like a brutal game. I ended up watching most of the group stage games too, so it was a very, very fun event. I actually loved Rift Rivals. It's my favorite international event since MSI 2016, actually. Was that the last MSI? No, it's the one before. It's the one with CLG getting second.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So, like, I actually, like, didn't like international events that much, but, like, this has actually been a pretty fun one for me.
Well, it's because we didn't have to play against really good teams.
What? I did not say that. EU is a great region, dude. We just got the better of them for this one time.
Imagine how much more fun Worlds would be to watch if just Korean teams didn't enter.
Actually, someone talked about that. Someone said like the parity between major regions is actually really close. So if Korea, except for Korea.
Yeah, except Korea.
If Korea didn't exist, literally, I would not know where the belt goes every year.
Yeah.
And even in like, I think back in hindsight, I'm like, who would have won that year without SKT existing?
I know,
like,
right?
It would have been like, oh god, like they were just gods that year. And next year was like Samsung White, Samsung Blue. Who would have won if they didn't knock out literally the entire tournament?
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. Without the Korean teams, it's like. In any case, going back to NA versus EU stuff, I think traditionally the way I've always seen it is that NA's average has always been higher than EU's, but EU's top teams have always outperformed NA top teams.
I think EU always tends to outperform NA at Worlds.
At Worlds, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially their top teams, but like in generally the head-to-head matchup is very close.
Yeah. But this year...
well, I mean, this year we just get bragging rights till Worlds comes around. And I'm sure Europe is going to do fine at Worlds. Like
yeah.
100%.
I mean, there's still time before Worlds, whatever. The one thing I do want to bring up is the fact that this year NA is just overall super competitive. And going into Rift Rivals, I know I couldn't have been the only one who was like, oh god, P1's going, they're going to get slammed.
On this show, when they were going, I was like, I'm going to make a aggressive a prediction. People will win at least 2 games. And Mark was just like, 2 games, dude. Maybe 1 game. I can see 2 games. And like after they come back, we're like, they could have won like 5.
Yeah.
They did. Like, they ended up throwing this game. Like, yeah, P1 did exceptional. Actually, they're really, really good right now.
Yeah. No, they just came out of nowhere. Took the stage by storm. Mike Young actually just played out of his mind that entire tournament.
I think a lot of people are wondering if like he's going to start dropping.
Yeah.
Like similar to Acadian. First 4
Oh
weeks.
my god, Acadian early.
This guy was actually MVP of like the whole league.
Yeah.
And then he kind of fell off. But I think Mike Young generally has the potential to go farther because I think his mid-late game decision making is better.
Yeah, so I'll say this much. Between like Prime Acadian last split and Prime Mike Young this split, I felt like Mike Young's floor was higher than Acadian's floor, whereas you know what I mean. Like
I don't necessarily see it like that way. I just think of situations where I think Mike Young has single-handedly brought back the game from unwinnable situations just because he knew when to be in the right place. Whereas Acadian, I'm just like he knows where to be at the early game, but like if he's in the mid game and it's like he's the only one with the lead, is he gonna carry?
Right.
It's really hard to say, you know. And I don't blame him for not being able to see like a 1v5 situation. Yeah. But I think Mike Young has been doing a great job of being able to do that.
A duck beat lucky, fuck, I missed it.
And also, especially how it is out of his mind, Rift Rivals performance. Like if you look at his stats, I don't like to just look at raw stats, but just looking as raw stats at a glance, he's the best support at the event.
Yeah, it was insane because when we did our drunk stream, I kind of downplayed X Special.
Oh yeah, I was just like, dude, I don't know if this guy's very good.
Yeah, overall, you'd say like looking at his season, I think it's fair to say that he's been at best average, and then he comes out and has just an amazing performance at Rift Rivals. I thought it was nuts. It kind of reminded me of that time. He just made so many outrageous plays this time around. He was like such a huge playmaker for P1.
Yeah, and I think that like it's just people just kept giving him Thresh. Like he is just a monster on Thresh. It's really, really hard to say. Like I don't know. At some point, I would have been like, you should probably ban this. But I think everyone was tunneled so hard onto Mike Young. They were like, we gotta control this guy. He's too good.
Yeah.
That people just kind of let Xpecial run the gauntlet on his picks. And that's exactly what he needed to do to have like an excellent tournament.
It's kind of reminiscent of back when St. Vicious was playing. He was playing Jarvan, and Xpecial was just making like the craziest Thresh plays where he was constantly interrupting the EQ.
Oh
combo.
yeah, that was like he just like killed Saint's career in that game. I remember that game as a game where I was like, wow, dude, Saint just got destroyed
just
by a
demolished. He's like, never pick Jarvan ever again. So, anyways, that's that. What else is new? We had a new video come out for offline TV.
Oh yeah, that's kind of been. I know a lot of people are wondering like where my time is going because I'm streaming a lot less recently, and a lot of my time, or some of my time, is being put into like sponsorships, and some of it is being put into offline TV, which is a new it's like essentially the house that I live in going to do stuff. I guess is the most down to earth.
Yeah, I mean it's basically we have all these people living in an area, because technically me and Mark are part of it, but we don't live in the house, obviously. But we're all coming together to try to make stuff. And one of the first things we made was like a meet the house thing, and then we have our AX video, which just came out.
Yes.
So go check that out.
Go check that out. It's called Offline TV. Just Google it. It's good. And honestly,
Yeah, I have no
I
idea what
actually
it's
can't wait for our next video to come out because do we have a static name for the YouTube yet?
Oh, like the URL?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, that's the only reason why I can't shout it out because I'm like, wait, I don't know if we have a static address yet.
No.
But yeah, I'm actually really excited for that video and the video that's coming out. I think our next video is just super good.
It's good. I wish our Anime Expo video was longer. We have so much footage that we didn't use, actually. We could probably, with all the footage that we have on the side, we probably could make another video. Anyways.
It is. Oh my god! I remember how much we ended up shooting that day too, or like that day and the next day. It was quite a bit.
Yuna's, where's Yuna? Yuna's
I think
dead.
he's rooming with someone I know. Like he already moved out to a new apartment.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And I don't know where it is, but I think like he's out living on his own, dude. He's like I'm like the dad, he's the son, and like he just left for college. I'm like I just start crying. I'm like, oh god, hope you make it out there, son. And like he walks out to the distance. That's Yuna right now. I'm hoping like
She grows up so fast.
yeah, I'm hoping like in like a couple months he doesn't crawl back to me. It's like, Dad,
I need money.
I need money.
I need more allowance. Actually, I have a kind of a funny story about something that happened this last week. It relates to Evo. So there's a guy named Hacks Money. Hacks.
He's a beast. He plays League as well.
He plays League. He's Challenger, I think.
Yeah, he's
right?
like he was at some point the highest rated TF1 trick in NA.
How many TF1 tricks are there?
There was like 2.
Yeah,
and he
so-
was like the highest rated one.
Well, so anyways, Hacks is also known as a Super Smash Bros. Melee professional player who has now broken his hands and now uses his own custom controller.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, so Miles is good friends with him, so he invites him over, and Hacks is staying at our place before he goes to Mango's to train for Evo. And somehow it got communicated to Hacks that it was okay for him to take my blanket and bring it over to Mango's. And I was like, what is going on? Who just does that? Who goes over to someone else's place, steals someone's blanket, and travels? So I was like, Miles, what happened to my blanket? And he's like, oh shit, I didn't realize he took it. And so I get a couple messages later with Hacks being like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I took your blanket, blah blah blah. And he was like, I'll return it on Thursday because I'll be back then.
You haven't
Thursday.
got it back.
Thursday comes around, I look at him in the eye. I'm like, Hacks, where's my blanket? And he goes, it's at Mango's. And mind you, Mango has a bird that just shits all over because that's what birds do. And so now my blanket is presumably at Mango's place, getting shit on by a bird.
I'm just saying though, if Hacks or Mango perform well at this event, you get to say that's because of you.
Yeah, I sponsored them with my blanket. And anyways, Hacks told Mango to bring the blanket to Evo so that I can get it back, but who knows? So my blanket is a World Traveler. It's been to more tournaments than I have this year.
I'm just saying, Hacks, he's not out yet, right?
No, I don't think. Yeah, he was actually just he just played against Kage the Warrior and beat him on stream. So
Wait, I love that guy.
Kage?
Yeah. Well, I like anyone who plays off meta.
Yeah.
So like, I'm actually like off meta warrior when it comes to watching streams. I'm
Yeah.
like, I remember the worst case of this was I was watching Injustice 1. And in Injustice, everyone played Aquaman. Like it was like if you're playing the game, 70% of your competition was Aquaman. And it got to the point where I'm like, if anyone plays Aquaman, I was just not cheer for you. Even if the finals of some events were literally Aquaman mirrors, I was so mad. And so like, yeah, I just like it when people play stuff that's a little bit not super meta.
That's actually hilarious that Aquaman of all characters became he's like the joke of the Justice League, you know?
Wait, what the heck? Hacks was 1-1 with Hungry Box and forfeited game 3 because his box malfunctioned.
No!
Wait, you cursed him!
Oh my god. Yeah, I got to see the Smashbox in person, or he calls it the Hacks box. I don't know, whatever. But it's all like handmade. So he literally just like takes up the cover. It's not like glued together. It's not like
it's not like professional.
Yeah. It's not like professionally made. It's just like his own thing that he uses like basically what's a little better than breadboards. You know, if you know those like It's basically a thing that you can use to create circuits.
Oh, okay.
And so he's basically circuited his own GameCube controller into this configuration, and it's like, it's so jank. I literally have wires on my desk right now because he was like cutting things up to replace parts in his thing, and he was like, he like installs software on it from his laptop to like make sure that his buttons work. It is really jank. So don't blame me.
You're saying he could be scripting.
He probably is scripting.
I've seen.
Well, no, you can't use macros. So probably not.
Well, I mean, like they don't know that, right? He can just press a button and then just like instantly wave dash. Yeah, it's like, oh shit. Wait, so is he allowed to use that?
Yep. So EVO is one of the weird tournaments where they're allowing custom controllers as long as they don't have macros.
Okay.
So we'll see. Maybe he scripts on TF. Who knows? TF is not the champion you want to script on.
He does not. I played against him. That guy gets, no, he does not. He doesn't play League anymore. He just plays Smash. He wants to be great at Smash. Actually, I used to follow him when he was playing Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he dropped Falcon, I was like, we're done.
Unfollow.
Yeah, we're just done.
To the top tier character.
Yeah, as soon as that he went from like fun to like Spaceys, I'm done.
Yo, Spaceys for life. I love my Fox mains. I love my Falco mains. I love Falco mains a
lot less. So there's something that just got announced today. Chaser got released from Dignitas.
Right. So it felt like it was moving towards this direction no matter what, because like Dignitas just like didn't play him regardless of how the jungle.
It was literally I think 2.5 straight weeks where like he saw zero play.
Zero play, yeah. It wasn't subbed in once. It wasn't one of those situations like old P1 with Inori and stuff. It was just like you just never get playtime. Of course, and I wonder if it was Chaser who decided that like fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore.
It was probably a little bit of both. Like from my understanding, when I remember looking at Chaser from LCK, this guy was like a top 6 jungler.
Yeah, he was good.
Top 4, really powerful.
He's looked good in the NALCS, not in the beginning, but he like worked up to a place where he was like okay.
Yeah. I think that like they just wanted Strip more. I don't necessarily know if it's a good or bad stuff or thing, but it just happens behind the scenes. All right, he's gone.
Do you think someone else will pick him up? That's the.
I think he just goes back to Korea. He's actually a great player. I think he might function better in like a very Korean style system. Like everything is much like more laid out for him. Because I remember at the beginning of the season, he had literally no structure to go on, and literally Cop comes in, and Cop is like, "Okay, we're running this draft where we pick Lulu and you pick Rengar, and we're gonna do it for 2 weeks straight until someone bans it, and like it doesn't get banned for like 80% of their games. So for those 80% of the games, Chaser looks great." And I'm just like, well, I thought to myself, I'm like, well, if they just need like a basic like outline for how to play the game through draft, maybe that's just what Chaser needs to be effective. Ibuki. Holy moly. Oh, God, we can talk about Delta Fox. The end of Delta Fox.
Oh, Delta Fox. That's right. You guys played your last game.
Yeah, we played our last game this Thursday at 2 p.m., which is weird because they streamed our game from Wednesday and not our last series. Where I played really well during our last series, and they streamed the series where I didn't play that well, and I was like, God. But
so what was your overall record?
We ended the entire series 3-20.
3-20.
Why are you laughing at me? Come on, dude. Come on.
Oh God.
But yeah, we ended it 3-20, meaning that we essentially could have won 3 different series, but we didn't because we suck.
Oh my God! If you only won one more game, if you brought another game to game,
okay.
That would have been amazing. Wouldn't it be like the most amazing thing if you guys ended 4-20?
Real talk, we realized why we couldn't win because all of our wins are on blue side. When we go to purple side, our drafts are so bad because we don't play like specific meta picks that we have to play with, and there's not enough bans with Zac. Because I have to ban Zac. Yeah. So there's not enough bans with Zac included to where like we can win. And on top of that, Darius has a really hard time laning on purple side. Yeah. And he just told me that like it's really hard to deal with. It's harder to deal with ganks on top lane on purple side than it is on blue, where it's much easier. And so like those are like if you look back on all the games like Darius just like dies, it's just because it's purple. And like he like gets pathed once on by the jungler, and then he just goes like 0-20. And I'm just like, can I have helped you, Darius? Like, no, dude, don't worry about it. But it's legit. Like, we can only win on blue. So like, we already have like a very bad very very bad thing going into every series, but like we took some wins.
All right, so let's do some takeaways here. What did you learn, with your time on Delta Fox?
I learned that it would have been nice if we had scrimmed more, but I mean, we came in with the team understanding that we wouldn't get much scrim time. Like we would get at best once a week, and then Riot kind of shut that down for us. And so once that happened,
oh, blame Riot. I like this.
Oh no, I'm not gonna.
Ooh, top Reddit. Scarra blames Riot.
No, I'm not gonna go into this. But like, they didn't really want us to stream our scrims, and we were just like, all right, well then I guess like the biggest problem is like everyone's schedules is really different with QD and like Voy, and so everyone kind of started streams at different times. I think the people who are most consistent were me, Shifter and QD, because Shifter and QD both stream at the same time, which is I think 6 a.m. PST, give or take.
They stream that early?
Yeah, he streams really early, and I stream starting about 10.
Yeah.
And then like Voice streams like kind of midday and past, and Dyrus does kind of the same stuff. And so because of that, like it was just like a really, really bad schedule to work around. And on top of that, like I was like, dude, let's scrim on weekends. And I'm like, wait, I have Greatest League Talkshow. I can't scrim on weekends. And it was like, because that was the time where like, okay, so everyone's free except for me. And I'm like, oh, this sucks, And so we weren't able to find a good scheduling point for it.
Another takeaway. You learned that you were the superstar jungler, beat world-class, world champion.
Wait, who did I beat? Who did I beat? All the junglers I beat in ACS, one game. So I beat one game of Dandy, one game of Santorin, and one game of that one jungler who plays for Temple Storm.
Okay, so Dandy.
Wait, that's yeah. What the heck? That's just flaming, man. Come
Better
on.
than Dandy.
Come on.
Confirmed.
I actually don't remember who jungles for Temple Storm. Oh, it's Wiggly. That's right. He plays a lot of Zac. I remember. Apologies for Wiggly if he watches this. He's not gonna watch this. No one watches this shit.
Someone tweet this at Wiggly. Let him know. And Scarra doesn't even remember his name after defeating him.
Come on, dude. I'm not. Don't say that to him. Oh, but for anyone who's coming in late, people are wondering, Scarra, where's the League of Legends analysis? Well, that gets here when Mark gets here. And so we are waiting on MarkZ to arrive here from the studio. Yeah. Usually takes a little bit because he has meetings and all this other stuff that's cool because he works at the Riot Analyst Desk, and they rejected me this season. So I have to just wait for him to slowly come back.
22 minutes in, we're still waiting on Mark. Eric Haiba, thoughts on Melee Finals not being on Sundays? That's why I'm not there. I'm just saying.
You would have gone. All right, would you have gone, in hindsight, would you have still rather be there?
What do you mean?
At EVO.
If it was on Sunday?
If it wasn't on Sunday. Because I know that you made the conscious decision not to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't want to go because it's just not worth it for me. Because, I'm there to see, the big finals with Melee, my favorite game, there or whatever.
Yeah, but what about Tekken?
I don't care. I don't care about Tekken. I'm just saying.
Jesus, dude, come on. Tekken 7 is popping off right now.
Yeah, no, I heard Tekken 7 is awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, so for people who might be interested when BTR is coming back, it's going to be coming back either next week or it'll be in the next month sometime. We're sorting out the details, QD's got a very busy schedule. Okay, he streams League of Legends for 10 hours, then he takes a break to eat, and he plays Final Fantasy for 5 hours. And so because of that, it's hard to fit Beyond the Rift into that schedule of his. So I really need to figure out how I'm going to fit it in. Honestly, it's difficult.
Damn,
I'm not even kidding. He doesn't stream the Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
He just plays it. He's actually a monster. He plays that game so much. It literally. Oh,
so much.
This is the funniest stuff. We're playing Temple Storm, all right, and Kitty's just like, I want to play Yasuo this game, and I'm like, all right, go for it, just lock it in. I practiced Sejuani so that he could play Yasuo because it works really well with Sejuani.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm gonna play Mordekaiser this game. So we get Blitzcrank, and he's gonna lock in Mord. He's like, no, I don't want to lock in Mord this game. And as the champ select's about to finish, he's like, by the way, I didn't lock in Mord because I forgot a rim page. I'm just like, oh my god. Okay, so anyways, it wouldn't have been a good pick. We get through the game, we win the game, and Kitty's just like, man, I wish we would have lost. I'm like, what? Excuse me? He's like, yeah, if we went 0-2, dude, I could have started raiding Final Fantasy faster. I was just like, oh my god.
Oh my god! Yeah, you guys sounded like you guys took Delta Fox really seriously.
No. I'm gonna be honest. He always plays serious in game.
Yeah.
But that like definitely when we're like in between games, some of the stuff that people say is actually just hilarious. Like I have like little snippets in of comms on my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that we have to end up editing out because it's just like not good to go public with. It's just like the stuff that's like the super funny but kind of inappropriate stuff that ends up being said.
That's the kind of shit that people want to see.
I know. But it's like some of the stuff where I'm like, no, we can't put that one out there.
Oh man. Oh yeah, Game of Thrones comes out tomorrow.
Are
you hyped?
I only read. Like, straight up. I watched the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is now past the books.
I know. And so I'm just like, well, maybe I should start watching it now? I don't know. Yeah. I might end up watching it.
Yeah. I usually catch up when people say it's good again, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll binge watch it a little bit.
But, like, if I haven't tried to catch up on everything, you know? Because it's like, okay, I'm literally reading 3 books at once right now. Mm-hmm. And then I also maybe want to get back into this season of anime, so I'm just like, there's no way I can balance.
What's playing right now this season for anime?
I just want to see the ballroom anime. That's actually like the only thing I'm interested in looking at.
That's right. People are talking about that.
And so like because of that, even if I have to balance like 1 or 2 shows, I just don't have that much time.
Yeah. Also, Game of Thrones is long. You know, like watching something that's an hour long just feels like a time commitment rather than like anime where it's like 20 minutes and you're done. Oh god, I mean I can't say shit because like I mean I watch more
for
than
reading.
Of anime.
Yeah, I was gonna say for reading like I'll just sometimes read like 5 hours straight.
Oh yeah, no reading's the best when you binge. I think there's definitely been times where I'm just like up super late at night because I got like caught up in the book and you look up and you're like, oh shit, it's 4 a.m. After this chapter, right? Like,
I mean, I'm sure the same thing happens when you watch anime. Did someone even talk about My Hero being like, no, super good? Which, oh my god, I want that clip that Mark said. That was like,
but our camera died.
Really?
Yeah.
When he said that?
Yeah, when he was talking about it.
Oh wait, we're not releasing that, right?
We might still release it.
Okay, well, never mind. Then I can't say.
But I don't know if that part is in the video, so we can just briefly talk about it.
We can just talk about what Mark said about that show?
Mark doesn't believe... Get this, guys. Mark doesn't think that My Hero Academia is that good. That's what he said.
And you know what? I agree with him! Oh, let's go, dude. Give me that flame. I'm ready, dude. I actually think... Okay. Well, the argument that Mark has is like the character...
Look, you just triggered so many people. All right, let's hear it. Sorry.
All right, so the argument that Mark had was that the character development, the uniqueness is super good for like all the characters is great. But at least my personal argument for it is that look, okay, so this came up because the big 3 was about to fall off in the sense that they were all ending all the
and the big
series.
3 meaning One Piece, Bleach, Naruto.
Oh, One Piece will never die, but Naruto and Bleach were like ending, and so like for me, I'm like, okay, so these titans kind of drop off. With these dropping off, there will be equivalent, if not better, anime to replace it. And quite honestly, I don't like. It's better than Bleach, but I also think a piece of shit could be better than Bleach. No offense to people who like Bleach. Like, I think after 2 arcs, that show was just like, it's in the gutter. Yeah, okay, but I'm not even convinced it's better than Naruto. I think if they redid Naruto with like the animation of My Hero, you'd probably think Naruto is more hype. Like, if they were able to do that tournament arc. Like, imagine the Chunin exam tournament arc in Naruto, but with the animation that My Hero Academia had for their sports arc tournament. That would be that's still what I consider to be like one of the best tournament arcs of all time for anime.
All right. Let me reply, because I disagree. I think My Hero Academia is great.
All right. We don't have enough time for this.
Because I think, like you said, I think the character design is one of the best of all time. And 2, I do think that it gets carried a lot by the fact that the music and the animation is modern, and therefore it's like at a level that we've never seen. But 3, comparing it to Naruto and saying, well, it's not as good as Naruto. Well, Naruto's actually really good. That's the thing. Like, people... I dislike it when people say, oh, Naruto isn't that great. Because, like, the show ran for, like, how many years? And, yeah, it had some bad...
It had filler. But
it had filler, and I'm not talking like anime filler. I'm talking like in general, the story just had its problems and stuff. But let me tell you something. If you were to look at the timeline of how where they are in Boku no Hero Academia, and you compare that to where they would be in Naruto, they're in the Chunin exams. And let me tell you right now that Naruto Chunin exams is like one of the greatest shonen things of all time. I'm just saying. Like, I actually think that
it's the best tournament arc I remember.
I don't know if it's the best of all time, but it was amazing on its own right. Like when you saw Rock Lee take off those weights, tell me you didn't get hyped. Tell me you didn't get hyped. This shit was so hyped.
Like, this is coming from someone who used to watch the tournament arcs for Yu Yu Hakusho, Flame of Recca, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Original. I've watched like literally non-stop tournament arcs and read non-stop tournament arcs for like pretty much my entire childhood. And I thought that the real tournament arc was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, is that like in the beginning of Naruto, you're just kind of like, oh, it's a bunch of kids and they're playing. And then Gar just fucking murders somebody. And you're just like, holy shit. He just fucking murdered that guy. Just... And you just see blood splat everywhere. You're just like, oh my god, I thought this was a kid show. What the fuck happened? And then he fights Gaara, this guy who's like kind of a gimp, you know. He's like, I'm gonna be the next ninja, but I can't actually use any ninja skills. And you're like, oh shit, dude, we're about to watch some like basically Gaara, who's like this Olympic athlete, go against Rock Lee, who's like the Special Olympic athlete. And you're just like, oh my god, I can't watch.
Oh yeah.
I can't watch.
And then you find out he's actually like...
And then you see Rock Lee like beast mode, and you're like, oh shit, let's go, kid, let's go.
No, and like, I fully respect like Yu Yu Hakusho's tournament arc. Literally, that entire show was based off of 4 separate tournament arcs, I think. Like, actually. But then like, on top of that, like, dude, I remember like almost all the tournament arcs for all the shows I watched. And I think that still the Chunin exam is like very, very...
It's so good.
Very, very
it's
high,
so good.
high up.
And
very high up.
And that's why I'm saying when people are comparing Boku no Hero to Naruto, I'm just like, why is that a bad comparison? It's like, I don't know. It's like it's one of those things that it's long enough ago that people kind of remember some of the bad stuff. You know, it still lingers. Because I hear the same thing about Harry Potter when people talk about Harry Potter, and they're like, it's not that good. And it's like, well, when you were growing up, you thought that was like the top shit you've ever read. You know?
Like, literally, that book came out. My mom already knew me and my brother would want to read it. She bought 2 books the day it came out.
Yeah.
So one for me and one for my brother, because she knew we would just fight over it until we finished reading it.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, I think people get clouded because, like, yeah, okay, a lot of stuff has advanced since the times of Harry Potter and Naruto, and you've probably read bigger and better things now, but, like, in comparison, overall, I think Boku no Hero is great. I don't know.
Yeah, I still think it's really good, but I do think it's, like, just... It's pretty overrated, but it's still really good. Also, I just think it's really funny that this season came out during the same where I can really respect the quality of animation.
Oh god, the animation
at the
so
same time when Berserk 2017 came out.
Oh god,
and I can really respect how little they cared about it.
It's like they were like, all right, guys, we're going to take one of the most beloved mangas of all time, and we have to spend some money on the animation, guys. What do we do?
$5.
And then the guy's like, oh, I know my son animates. He's a college student. They're like,
time.
Hired.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Wait, we're talking about anime again?
Well, we covered a lot, dude. You're 33 minutes in, dude. We covered Rift Rivals.
That's pretty average, though.
Yeah. We covered Rift Rivals. We covered Evo. We covered Parody in the NALCS. We talked about Chaser. Dude, we went through the gauntlet. We're just waiting for you to get over here.
God,
I am over here.
the Berserk anime.
So just letting you know in advance, my brain might have melted after the FlyQuest Liquid 50-minute game. So you might need to carry me a little bit on some of the last 2 games. But
So what was nice was we were watching the other game. Because they were around the same time. So I was watching the C9 one.
Oh, God. The Liquid FlyQuest game, literally, I was just like, this game is just never going to end. It's 50 minutes. They've, aced each other, or not aced each other, but, fought, 17 fights consecutively today.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to watch that. Oh, thank God.
He's lucky, dude. It's not even like he didn't have to watch that. He purposely skips out TL games now. It's so obvious. He's just he hates Team Liquid.
While wearing a Team Liquid shirt.
Yeah. But that's just because it's free. He's wearing a Team Liquid shirt with an Echo Fox hoodie. Come on. Holy shit. Why are you so mad, Mark?
Mark is always mad.
I'm just 12 years
sick. Actually, you know what happened this week? First time ever it's happened since the start of the NALCS.
What's that?
It's been the first time Friday and Saturday has not one series has gone to 3 games.
Yeah.
It's literally clean sweep two games every single series.
And what's crazy is like a lot of the time, it feels like if one series is going to go 3 games, the other one's going to go 3 games. I feel like we haven't had many 2-3 days.
Yes, but like actually Friday and Saturday we had just quick games. I'm really happy we could just talk about this stuff. Except for the TL FlyQuest game was pretty long, but we could just talk about this stuff and we could be good.
I mean, the thing about the TL FlyQuest game is I think you can like
we can talk about
glaze over half of it because it was literally like TL's doing nothing.
I mean, definitely the second game we can talk about a lot less. Okay, anyways, welcome to Greatest League Talkshow, guys. This is our LCS analysis show plus League of Legends analysis show when we want to do other non-LCS stuff. Anyways, I'm your host, Scarra, with my co-host,
MarkZ.
This guy is the current NALCS analysis.
Analyst desk guy.
That
ADG
guy.
is what we call me.
Oh, and I'm a streamer. ABG is what I get called.
Absolute garbage.
That's close enough. Anyways, we're going to cover Fridays and Saturdays games for this week. Is it 5? It's week 6.
6, I think. Maybe week 5.
I think it's week 6.
We'll see.
They said there's 8 games left for teams. That means there's
4. So it would be week 5.
All right, whatever. We're covering today's games and yesterday's games, so 6 best of 3s. At the end of the show, we'll do a Q&A as well because it's going to be pretty quick, I think.
All right, yeah, I think so too. Kicking things off with the first series, CLG versus FlyQuest. This was, like Scarra said, a 2-0 in favor of CLG and a pretty fun series overall.
Oh.
Just because I feel like FlyQuest put up a reasonable fight. There were some interesting picks. We saw a substitution. There was a lot going on.
We saw a decent amount of subs this week. Like, literally.
Oh, just overall, too.
Overall, I'm like, wait, they're just throwing everyone in here. This is what I expected earlier weeks. You know, when you're testing out rosters, you're just like, you know what, let's see how DeMonte's going to do week 3.
Yeah.
And not week 6, where we're like 6 games away from the finals.
Yeah, this is like you got your roster locked in. You're trying to grind out to like be the top 4 in some playoffs.
You're perfecting your craft right now.
This should be like the knuckle down couple weeks before.
It may not be the case for some teams.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's start things off here. So the big thing you have to talk about in the draft for both these series or both these games this series is the ᵐᵐ pick, which we really just haven't seen much of other than like way back when Azir was meta. A couple people played it.
It only used to counterpick 2 champions. Sassen in Korea used it to counterpick Azir and counterpick Ryze. And that's it. In the history of literally the champion, he's only been played into those picks for the most part. I think maybe Jensen played him like a year and a half ago, but I think it was into one of those.
It was Azir. It was against Bjergsen's Azir.
Okay, so it's literally only been picked into those 2 champions. I'm apparently being told that ᵐᵐ is actually really good right now. Just for some random reason, just suddenly became strong.
I feel like I can understand. Like, he's always had good damage. That was never the problem. And what was always his issue was like he's a little prone to ganks. And then, like, he's a mobile late game, so you can kind of fuck him up. Now, he has good range to kind of offset that, but we're in a pretty heavy engaged meta overall. You have, like, Kleds running around with Ash arrows and, like, Gragas's. Like, overall, I'm a little surprised to see it be picked right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just a Corki-specific counter pick or, like, just a pick in general that CLG is just like, we gotta lock this in every game.
Yeah, so they played it twice into Corki, and for the most part, Hui carried with it really hard.
It did great. Like, Hui's slowly becoming my favorite CLG player. He's actually stepped up really big in the last, like, probably the whole year. I think coming into this week or today.
Yeah, he fucked up today.
Okay, well, today, oh god, we'll get into that series before. But I love it when people pick off meta stuff like this and make it work to the point where if you see how he influences the draft, he's getting 3 bans every game, and bans where literally no one else is drawing.
Yeah, like, there's the classic Xell ban. You just have to ban a Aurelion Sol.
Into like the classic Vladimir and like ᵐᵐ bans, and I'm just like, COG just gets such a nice draft a lot of times because of this.
Anyway, so getting into game 1 specifically, not a great series or not a great game for Darshan, who is typically a really, like, the other big factor aside for Hui for CLG. But this time around, plays Gnar into Rumble. This is one of those matchups that's actually not that good for the Gnar, even though sometimes people counterpick it. You tend to lose early on. He gets chunked out really, really hard, doesn't actually want to leave the turret.
And
it just gets solo killed under his turret, 1v1, pre-6.
That was... When I saw that, I was mind-boggled. I was like, whoa, he just doesn't respect this guy at all.
Yeah, that's basically what that is, because he was like, I should recall, and he saw the wave coming in, and he's like, nah, it's balls.
That's kind of how it felt like. You know, he's literally 35%, 40% under tower. Maybe the Rumble can't kill me with his rotation. It's like, no, he can.
Yeah, so Darshot, he dies early on, and then Dardoch comes up there, and they fight some 2v skirmishes top. There's a lot of 2v2s, a decent amount of top action, but for the most part, Dardoch, but for the most part, Huki's doing a good job mid, like kind of controlling that.
The one thing I have to say just about the series in general is I think Hai does like. This is a series where you can look at Hai and be like, oh, these are his intangibles. Mm-hmm. He does a great job roaming out of lane constantly. Even though the mid CSs, even if Hui does like a decent job controlling him, he does a good job of being able to roam to affect the side lanes a lot, especially on Corki. He's like when they have a lead, he's pushing in vision with his support. He's running to different sides. I don't know if he got first tower this game, but he helped secure first tower the second game. He's doing a really good job of being able to like create. Not plays, but like create pressure on sides of the map.
And CLG actually starts falling behind this game, partly due to Hai's roams. He gets that cleanup kill on the top side in the 2v2 skirmish. But then they also are able to sneak a Baron, which, like you're mentioning, these kind of intangibles, you have to assume that's kind of on Hai a little bit.
Yeah, and it was a really awkward situation because they just randomly lane swapped their bot lane top when their tower wasn't even there, so they just kept Wild Turtle up there for almost 4 minutes in a row. And at some point, he just leaves lane, and I feel like that you get nervous when that happens.
Well, especially, it was Kalista, right? So, like, Kalista's come flying back into the meta, by the way. She's, like, first pick, first ban status right now, basically. And, yeah, you leave Kalista off the map post 20 minutes for 30 seconds, you have to start worrying about Baron. Not even 30 seconds, like 20 seconds if she was last top.
Yeah, it was a really good call by them. And at this point, I'm just like, okay, FlyQuest has this game.
And it did feel like they had it because their team comp's pretty good overall. Rumble, Kha'Zix, Corki, Kalista, Sona. The only problem is like it's relatively high execution because you don't have a front line. But I think it still makes sense. You have a lot of physical damage, a lot of magic damage.
A lot of it's based on like the 2 AD carries not to get caught. And unfortunately, the way CLG swings this game back is like, okay, they get a pick on Hai. Nard trades his life 1 for Hai right after that, and then the big blow up is at Baron.
The Baron, yeah.
Yes, where they get a pick before. It's a clean 4v5 at Baron, and then like CLG just cleans the Baron completely. They get Baron, but they lose 4 people for it.
Yeah, so FlyQuest, after their first Baron, built a lead, taking turrets, doing the basic stuff, and then it was like a little scrappy, like you were saying. But what ends up happening is Wild Turtle is like trying to finish the Baron down. It's like whenever you're a Kalista trying to hit Baron, it's pretty telegraphed where you're going to hop around. And so Huki just blows him up with Vel'Koz from like 2,000 units away. Just insta-kills the AD carry. They secure the Baron, like you said, but now they have no way of fighting at all. And CLG is able to actually win that fight 4 for 2, I believe.
Yeah, and then following this...
It's still not clean for CLG.
Yeah, like a CLG loses a fight, like gets picked, and then FlyQuest gets Elder.
Well, it was because Stixxay fucked up really hard. He fucked up a couple times this game, but that one that he threw really hard, he just like jumped in right away and insta died.
He pulled the Wild Turtle where he just Trish jumps over the wall into 4 people, and he dies instantly.
So it looks like it's pretty sketchy. Like you said, FlyQuest grabs Elder Dragon. But then Huki carries a team fight really, really hard late game. Which it had some good setup by Darshan.
Yeah, I think Darshan set up the last 2 team fights with 2-man Gnarlties, and then Hui just ends up killing them both. In the end, this game felt really bad for CLG in terms of the standards that you hold for the rank 1 team. Yeah,
I mean, you think that they should smash what is the 9th place team, and especially considering that like FlyQuest, even like stylistically, shouldn't be a mismatch in some sense. Where like sometimes you can understand a top team struggling versus a bottom one.
Where if like they have a really star player that's like a weak, and you have a really weak position in that star player's role.
Right. So like I mean, you could say like, oh yeah, you know, TL has Piglet, maybe he has a great game where he pops off hard or something, or Arrow the same way.
But that's not necessarily the case in this one, and so it felt really weird going into this as a CLG fan. I was just like, oh well. They got smashed. FlyQuest played well.
Yeah.
I actually did think if Hai didn't end up training his life, like getting picked and then training his life kind of near the mid game, FlyQuest is in a great position to take over this game.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that CLG is a little bit better of a team. They never quite got like a huge lead with their snowball for FlyQuest, and CLG was able to come back. But It was like really, really close. So then,
My screen just died.
did we lose internet? What happened?
Your computer is having.
Is the cable in all the way?
This will be fixed tonight. It's back. I got the other laptop, so I can just.
Thank God.
Are we back?
Yeah, we got it good.
Did we ever actually drop?
I think so.
I don't think we did. Did the timer reset down there?
No.
No, yeah, we've been live for an hour, so we never actually dropped.
Okay.
I think my computer just froze up for a second.
That's good. We're done with game one. You know, COG ends up clawing their way back. Hui plays so pretty well. Nara finds some good initiations, and FlyQuest wasn't able to find like the execution necessary there.
Right. So when you head into game two, you're thinking, all right, maybe FlyQuest can take this. CLG is not looking too hot, but OmarGod comes in. Heyo.
And I'm ready to hype up this guy. Okay, this is
All right, hype up some OmarGod.
This is the
for me.
number one Scouting Grounds player when he came in. He's really, really good at solo queue. He's like the type of player where you kind of won on a team because he's strong mechanically and he has good game sense. However, I didn't think he did like super well this game. Like it didn't really matter.
It kind of felt like he went mid because who he was shitting on mid.
Well, it wasn't even who he's shitting on. Man, this game just put it on a montage, upload it to ᵐᵉᵐᵉ's YouTube channel. Literally, that's it. This game was all on Afro. If you saw what he did this game, I was like, oh my god, dude.
Well, FlyQuest bot lane kind of like let it happen level 2, where they just like they do the super hard leash. And then they just walk up to contest level 2. They get level 2 all in, and Braum dies right away, and like bot lane's over.
Yeah, bot lane's over, and not only that, like the roams that Thresh got mid lane, he just read high so well. It was just. I was like, oh my god, dude, calm down, Afro.
Yeah, it was like those really annoying ones too, where it's like, all right, he walks in, he flash flays, the other guy flashes, and then he hits the hook, and then like, oh, it's not just him, by the way, Olaf's here as well. It's like it was coordinated roams, not just like I'm off on my own.
Right, but I think even how they like blew open, like the way they consistently blew open the game was like Thresh would land the initiation hook, and then that's how they would get stuff started. And this really was for me Afro montage. Carried the game.
Yeah, I think at some point it was like 22 kills to 2, and somehow it was like a 35-minute game. Like it did take a little while for CLG to win this, but I think that just comes down to like FlyQuest actually putting up a reasonable fight for never actually winning anything.
And for me, a lot of this comes down to like Hai literally got hard cam mid lane. He starts 0-2.
Oh yeah, it's not.
It's like disgusting, but he still finds a way, an opening to shove in the lane, roam top lane. To kill top lane and get the first tower. Or he didn't even kill top lane. He got the first tower.
Yeah.
So he's able to equalize early game his own personal early game deficit by being able to create a play that's really hard to find. Like that's why I looked at this game. I'm like, wow, he did a good job finding that play.
Yeah, this is a game where like one team got smashed but still put up a fight in a sense.
Yeah, and if you're a FlyQuest fan, they did pretty well. Like you're not even mad by the series. You're just like, okay, you can kind of see like they match up well with the first place team over the course of 2 games, and the second game was just like a lot more one-sided because COG just had a
it's just like
insane. Like
your bot lane fucked up and it spilled over to your mid lane, and then it just
it was like your bot lane messed up a lot.
Yeah,
like the fact that like Lemon died in level 1, into the fact that your 80 carry
got chunked out.
No, died in the jungle, rotate from mid to
bot. That was after.
Yeah. And so you're just like, oh my god, please stop.
Yeah, that was tragic. And Afro, like, oh god, that pickoff was so like beautiful. The way like he hooks him in, OmarGod's coming around this way, and then so he walks down and throws the lantern back to Vel'Koz.
Just in case there's any angle he could flash.
Yeah, he covered like every option. It was pretty sick.
And so that's like you're like, okay, well, Afro's just gonna pop off this game. He did a great job. COG secures the win, 2-0.
Yep, 2-0. Not much else to say. Moving on to Immortals versus Echo Fox. This one is going to be, once again, another 2-0 in favor of Immortals.
And this is another series where you're just like, what's Echo Fox's plan? Like, that's at least my question.
When you're coming into it.
Yeah, because you're just like, okay, so they're using new players, but it's really late in the season. Like, I'm okay with using new players, but they're also replacing what's potentially their biggest threat. So they're replacing their mid lane threat, which is Froggen. You know, this guy's going just like super... just his whole season, he has the second highest goal difference mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's hulking out in lane. You can criticize him maybe a little bit for, like, late game problems, but it doesn't seem like, you know, you can inherently say, oh, that's Froggen's fault. Let's take Froggen out to fix that issue, because you're also taking away one of the only things getting you leads in the game.
Yeah, and so just moving on to game 1, the first game was Pobelter has LeBlanc. LeBlanc gets a Rek'Sai gank from McSmithy. LeBlanc is suddenly 9-0, and the game is over.
Yeah, this was one of those games where we were like, that wouldn't happen to Froggen.
Yes.
Yeah, like this game would not have happened with Froggen in.
Like, if Froggen dies to the gank, he would not have gotten solo killed afterwards, almost assuredly.
Nope.
I don't
even think he dies to the gank because his lane control on Cassiopeia would be way too good.
But like, I just don't even remember the last time he got solo killed. Actually, it's been a while.
I can't remember the last time he got solo killed. He has died to a gank or two, but like literally, like LeBlanc Cassio heavily favors Cassio early on. Usually, what you see is like Cassio plays really up in the face for the first couple of levels, and then pushes the wave and it bounces back. And then they have like a freeze on the LeBlanc or something, and he just got ganked early and died. And like it felt like if you had better lane awareness, that doesn't happen.
I'm fine with it being one death. I think more than one death is just like you're playing it wrong. There's no way. It's terrible. The one thing I have to say is that Equifox was still even. With mid lane going like just bonkers bad, like 0-3, they're able to find plays on the side lanes that are able to snowball the game in their favor, and then Demonte does a cut from a top lane fight into mid lane, and he just gets cut hard, and then Immortals wins another fight. But even on top of that, it's not a huge deficit. The biggest problem I had this game is actually that people just kept getting randomly caught off split pushing in side lanes.
So that was a problem. The other big problem, and we'll get into yours in a second just because it's probably longer, dragons. Because even though the game's pretty back and forth, IMT is getting dragons, and they get 3 mountain dragons.
Yeah, that's a huge problem, especially when you can, with 2 mountains means you can do Baron in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it actually helped out the split pushing LeBlanc more because Pobelter, with all these pickoffs going on, he keeps grabbing the kills.
All right, let me say this. If there is a split pushing LeBlanc, you are not in the side lane. Like, you do not push up past river or near river because you know the LeBlanc will just kill your ass. So when she got free kills both top lane and on the bot lane, that should not happen. In that situation, what ends up happening is you shove the lane so it equalizes kind of near the river or a little bit on your side of the river, and you just group up. Because that's the way you beat LeBlanc. You group up and you just poke her down, abuse her if she tries to come in from a bad angle.
Yeah, and I mean, what ends up happening is 20 minutes into the game, there's 5 kills for Immortal, all 5 kills for Pobelter.
Yes.
And then, like we said, eventually they get triple Mountain Dragon. He just starts split pushing, and no one can answer him at all. And he just starts taking turrets by himself, grabs a bot inhib, and then finally they do that Baron, and it's basically over. It's without ever like really losing to fight really decisively. They kind of just die.
Yeah. As soon as the Baron's done, and they lost the bot inhib. And they lost the Baron team fight. This game's over.
Yep. So this is basically off the back of like Smithy giving Pobelter a lead, then him just like ballooning it out of control.
Yeah, slamming it. Demonte didn't play very well in terms of positioning after the lane either. When he got caught rotating back mid, that was like a really big problem for him. But going into the second game, it's actually pretty interesting because the first game, I think if you were like one of the best players in the world and you start 0-2 on Cassio versus LeBlanc Rek'Sai, there's a possibility you just start feeding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and I'm not saying Demonte should even be close to being considered to be the best player in his position, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like completely new rookie into the season. But second game, he actually does pretty well. Gets kind of a little bit overrated by people because he just got a lot of pickoff kills early, but he's able to find like strong impact during most of the fights, or a lot of the fights up until one that we'll talk about going in.
For game 2?
Yes.
Demonte had a good game? I don't remember this.
He was 6-0, I think, 5-0.
Goddamn, was he?
So he had like the thing is like his score line was good, but I didn't necessarily think his game was amazing.
You know, I think that's probably what it was. I just wasn't like actively tracking his scoreline, and it didn't feel like he was doing that much.
There were situations where like, oh, he did good damage there. You know, where like he's Syndra, he's like 2-0, he kills the Thresh, right?
Yeah.
And so like that doesnine seem like he does a lot, but like he's doing his job there. So in my opinion, I'm like, okay, I give him the benefit of the doubt. He did well, but I do agree. Like his score line kind of betrays like I think how he played that game. I didn't think he played that game phenomenally.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the stuff that happened was just like IMT plays the map a lot better. So like game 1 was nice for me watching Immortals because they won off like a split pushing snowballing LeBlanc, whereas game 2 was kind of more reminiscent of their other games and how they win, which is just like they're smarter about how they want to move around the map.
And the biggest thing for me is that this just highlighted the same problem that happened in the first game. Looper just randomly dies. Like he doesn't respect the pressure from the enemy team. just dies constantly when his team is winning bot lane so hard.
Well, yeah, so level 1, Immortals loses their summoners off like walking in or whatever, and then they just regank it right away, kill them, get first blood. Immortals tries to go top to rotate out of a bad lane matchup because they're smart. And then once again, they fuck it up and they end up in like this weird split map thing where everyone's like moving, and that's when Looper starts getting caught out all the time.
Well, even before that point, like literally, Echo Fox has a brilliant gank bot lane. Rek'Sai behind the back into like a Kalista Rakan. The Kalista Rakan hits both the people with the knockup into the other knockup, full like 4 seconds of CC, and they both die using all summoners. And at this time, Looper has got to be thinking to himself, where is the enemy team?
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing.
And then they dive in top lane. It's like, oh shit, that's where they are. Whoops. My bad. Like it happens twice to him this game. I think once or twice to him the game before, where he's just not in the proper position at the right time. And he dies for it, and it's causing his teams to like not be able to snowball correctly.
Yeah, and I mean, what ends up happening off all this is that even though Immortals should be down a lot more, they're not down a lot more. And then when you move into like the mid game, Echo Fox is just really bad about playing with their minion waves. And so they know that they're ahead. They want to force stuff because they're like, we're ahead. We should be winning more. They have no side lane control. They try and push up mid with the mid turret down and 2 teleport wards behind them. And then they just get flanked and murdered.
The times where they seem to have the best chance to be able to take over the game is if they're winning and then they fight a dragon fight. And so the one dragon fight they had this game potentially could have been backbreaking. But then the Rumble ult just goes sideways.
Oh my god, that was the ugliest, worst Rumble. I actually had to tweet like a reaction.
I was actually so mad because to me, if Looper threw that in the choke, they cleaned that so hard.
And sometimes like a Rumble ult happens where like you think they're gonna go somewhere and you drop it there because you're like, yes, this is gonna be perfect, and then you're wrong. And like it's understandable. This was not one of them where like they are at that banana brush choke point. You're forcing them back. They're going to have to walk through the choke point again. And he puts it off on the right side instead of on top of the choke.
He puts it on the right side because there's one person there when he first drops it, and both the people didn't turn over to the choke. And it's like, if he had just held on to it for half a second, or he could have just known.
You just know that like you're forcing them back. They have to walk through there.
Yeah, and that was a situation where if he had landed that was the best time for Echo Fox to win a team fight.
Yeah, and they didn't do that. I think they still might have gotten like 1 kill, but it wasn't like the deciding team fight that they were hoping for.
Yeah, eventually they get picks. Morals gets picks into a Baron.
Yeah, that was the mid lane thing.
And then they get more picks with Kled. Eventually, Immortal starts another Baron, and then this is where Damonte, who's 5-0 right now in Syndra, messes up. He flashes over the Baron wall to try to clean up with no vision, flashes in, Kled just kills him. And he trades 1 for 1 for the Kled when he's 5-0, and his team gets ran down.
It was, to be fair to this play, like you're watching it develop, and you know that he's the kind of fed Syndra, he does have to win that fight for his team.
Yeah.
Like he has to make a play there somehow. The problem was, like, it looked like they were all going to, like, funnel into the top choke, and then flashing the wall makes sense, but then they all just keep running up mid-river. And so he still flashes the wall as opposed to, like, flashing after them. So he just flashes into, I think it's Kled.
Yeah, he flashes into Kled. The worst thing is he hesitates. If he had just done his Q into full rotation and killed Kled right there, he could have kept team fighting. The problem is he doesn't do it fast enough, and he trades 1 for 1 with the Kled when he shouldn't have. The flash itself wasn't terrible. The execution afterwards was really bad.
Like he needs to chase and clean up. Everyone knows that. It's on him to win that fight. But I think he was hoping to flash the wall and find a priority target.
Yeah,
and then he flashes and it's only Kled, and he's like, "Oh shit! I guess I have to burst him."
Yeah, he definitely like hesitated. It wasn't decisive there, and that was like the only time where they could have potentially turned it back. And then after that point, Twitch has gotten 2 Barons, and the game's over because. Twitch, like when you're playing Kalista against Twitch just reams you. You can't do anything.
You're so short range compared to him that like when you try hitting frontline, like the other team's frontline, you expose yourself to Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch just actually 3 hits you. Okay, anyways, going on to today's games?
Today's games, starting off with TSM versus P1. The Rift Rival rematch, the supposed should have been final between TSM and P1, you know, because P1 looks so great at Rift Rivals. They must be a really good team.
Did you think they played that bad this series? I thought the second game was okay.
I think they got exposed a little bit.
Okay, so my biggest worry about P1 going into the series, especially against top like TSM, a team which I consider to be top 2, right? Mm-hmm. I am worried that Mike Young covers a lot of their weaknesses in the early game by playing aggressive carry-oriented junglers with a lot of pressure early. So whenever he switches to playing tanks, look at Rift Rivals, the one game he played Gragas. Look at the first game where he played Sejuani. Him not having pressure and having to depend on his team to give him enough pressure to even clear his jungle is not good because his team.
They have literally no lane dominant players.
Yes, his team cannot do that. So he needs to play carry-oriented to win. And I think that was like a really big telling point for me here.
Yeah, and that's what my concern was heading into Rift Rivals, or like coming out of Rift Rivals, because I was like, all right, they basically had, I've said it a couple times now, like the Gigabyte Marine effect, where it's like, oh my god, they're so crazy, and they're so aggressive, and they're always in your face, and it's best of ones, and you don't know what to do against them. And then you come back to North America, where teams have been scrimming them, it's best of 3, it's just, we're better teams in Europe, so when they play us, it's not that impressive. And I actually felt like they didn't look bad, right? Like, if you think of this team as, I think they're the 7th place team right now. If you think of this as the 7th place team versus potentially the 1st place team, this result makes sense.
Even with this being said, I thought Mike did the best he could with getting his lane shoved in. Like, he lost a little bit of jungle farm, but he kept up in CS okay, and his levels were okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, he's such an important factor in their wins that he needs to be better than okay. And this is a potentially like long-term problem where you can ban Nidalee Elise versus him and then the team falls apart.
I think he also backups into like Lee Nidalee Elise, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's a problem because coming into this patch right now.
Oh yeah, Lee is not good.
Right now it's Sejuani with Maokai,
Zach.
You're literally playing
Gragas.
like champions which don't need that much mechanics, but the ability that you have to be able to frontline and you can't carry as hard from the jungle. And so, yeah, if he gets certain things banned, he has to play a frontline champ. I don't know what his team's going to do if they play against a good team.
Right, and like we were saying, if this is the 7th place team versus 1st place team, this is the expected result. But P1, we were kind of hoping that they come back and they're like a playoff team. And I didn't think they showed me that much.
I thought their second game was okay. Their first game... And...
I mean, the first game... or the second game, we'll talk about that next week. First game was a smashing for the most part.
Yeah, they were able to, but except for the fact that P1 was able to go reverse on them when TSM tried to siege mid, and they were able to just collapse them with superior numbers, as well as the fact that I think it's also the game where P1 snuck a Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they snuck the Baron, but
in the end, didn't matter at all.
No, so here's what happens. This is so impressive out of TSM. 8 minutes, they go for an invade, because you're talking about all losing lanes, right? So TSM group up to invade the red buff. They bring the jungler, the mid laner, and the top laner. This actually gets repelled pretty well by P1. They get a kill. Looks great. Sven respawns, runs bottom. Beard goes bottom, and they instantly dive bot lane with a teleport 5-man play. Kill 2, take the first inhib, rotate their bot lane up to the top side, crack that turret while like P1's still reeling, grab Rift Herald, rotate down the mid lane, drop Rift Herald. In the span of 8 minutes, they have made 5 objective plays. Or in the span of 4 minutes, they made 5 objective plays.
And during that mid lane play was where P1 finally were just like, we can just smash them here. So they were able to, I think, get 1 Rek'Sai kill on the off chance, but I think they still got the mid lane tower.
Because they put the Rift Herald there. They had to ignore the Rift Herald to get the 1 kill, and then Rift Herald just finished off.
Yeah, no, so it was a sequence of events where you're just like, oh, P1's just not as good.
Yeah, TSM can play very fast when they want to, and they fucking just smashed when they were like, all right, you just repelled our gank on the top side. Well, we're going to gank bottom.
I actually did think getting the Baron would kind of stabilize because you're approaching a situation where Sejuani just outscales the Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
But that was not the case at all. And eventually TSM just like crushes them. I think they like go 5-0 team fight.
Yeah, P1 after that Baron sneak, I think it was a 4-for-2 as they were like rotating mid because what ended up happening was TSM took a dragon. They're trying to get back to their mid lane. The P1 wants to cut them off, and they actually do a pretty good job of it, and I think they kill ᵐᵉᵐᵉ. But then Arrow kites through the turret as opposed to back out of the turret. It baits all of P1 in, and then Doublelift the next 2 team fights just goes off super fucking hard.
Yeah, I think it's really, really hard when you're playing Kalista to get to the enemy backline, which is why Trist is such a common pick into Kalista, tends to do really well in lane, and like when you're team fighting, you can't walk up on Trist as Kalista without walking through the enemy front line. And so it was really hard for P1 to get to the enemy backline, and eventually they lose the mid-siege 4-for-1, lose the next team by 5-0.
Yeah, it's ace mid, and it's Doublelift just going off. And ᵐᵉᵐᵉ played decently well, I guess, on the Gnar.
I just thought that generally they played well as a team.
Yep.
And no one really super stood out to me as like, wow, this guy was crazy. Except for, Doublelift had like some good team fights, but
I mean, honestly, that's Tristana late game from ahead.
Yeah, honestly, it was just TSM played really well.
All right, so the second game, which I agree, much more impressive out of P1.
They put Mike. What did they put them on?
Rek'Sai.
Yes. So a tank jungler, but also early game pressure, like really, really strong early game pressure. And then what ends up happening early? Mike Young invades, it gets collapsed on, dies level 3 top side. And I was really worried because I'm like, oh, if Mike Young falls behind, this is a really hard game to win. And then what ends up happening is actually great by P1.
The regank top, or you mean the bot lane thing? Where they rotate top.
Yeah, well, the rotation top was really good. So their bot lane just fully rotated top lane. They countered one of TSM's ganks, got double kill first tower, and then Mike Young and Special and Arrow just worked together the entire time to set Mike Young back into the game and to set P1, give P1 like somewhat of a lead.
Well, this like game I don't want to undersell how impressive the comeback is because it's Camille and Tanar, where Mike Young on this invade gives first blood and double buffs to the Camille, who harasses out the Gnar. Then they regank it like a minute or two later, kill the Gnar again. The Camille has 2 kills, and it just looks like this game's over. Because Arrow and the Special were winning bot lane, because they have Kalista Thresh, but it didn't look like, oh, this is like, they're going to be able to offset how much the top side was winning. So that's why that rotation to the top side was huge, because it stopped the snowball from Hauntzer.
Right. And you think at this point I'm like, oh, okay, so their bot plus their jungle just gonna go around making plays. The problem is, Camille Galio is a serious threat, and Gnar literally touches the lane, dies instantly. It's so depressing. I don't even think that Zig played the matchup bad. I actually thought that when the matchup was stabilized, he was playing it really well from behind and just got slammed by Galio or Gragas ganks.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, so. I was actually a little surprised at P1's second ban phase, where you see the Galio already, and you ban Kha'Zix and Yasuo. TSM's not going to fucking play Yasuo. I know Yasuo's a counter pick to Gnar, but if TSM beats you with Yasuo, okay. But they already have Galio, so you know the comp TSM likes to run with Galio is Jarvan or Camille. You don't ban either of those. Yeah. You're basically asking yourself for your top laner to get dove over and over, and then it starts bad.
Well, for me, I just feel like, is Hauntzer's Yasuo that scary? You think?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I've never seen Hauntzer play Yasuo, and even if it is good, at least make them show it to you.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is you've seen Jarvan Galio shit on teams. They did it at Rift Rivals. They did it a week or two ago, and you don't ban the Jarvan, which is a fine matchup in the Gnar, by the way. You lose it, but you have the gank pressure. And then, I can understand maybe the Camille getting through because you haven't seen him play Camille this split, but Haunter played the shitload out of Camille last split. And they end up giving a great combination where Camille used her ult, locks you up, Galio ults on top of the Camille, and then you're dead.
Yeah, for the most part, people are saying he played it on stream, but that's it's a whole different story playing on stream than actually being able to play in the competitive game. When you're actually playing Yasuo in a competitive game, it is so scary because at any point, if you fall behind, you are useless to your team.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Show us that you're gonna beat us with Yasuo, because I know you're gonna beat us with Jarvan or Camille.
Yeah. Oh, but for the most part, P1 stabilizes with the bot lane rotation. It's looking good up until Gnar. Zeke just has the worst possible experience you can have playing as a top laner. Just getting picked off left and right, and some of it I can't even super blame him because he's literally getting slammed by 3 people.
I mean, yeah, it's that 3,000 range initiate where Camille ease into the wall, jumps at you, you hop away, she ults, and now you're trapped in the ult, and you can't go anywhere with people collapsing. So really not Hauntzer's fault, or Zig's fault.
And the thing about this game is I thought P1 was going to come back because what ends up happening is TSM just overdives mid lane, right? Galio just super hard overdives with I think Camille or Gragas.
The mid dive.
Yeah, and so what ends up happening is, okay, then P1 takes their kills there, starts Baron right after, and just cleans up TSM.
TSM forced them off of it, but they give up 2 more kills. And I think they go back to Baron again after the 2 more kills, and then they get it.
And they get Baron and a 5-0, a full ace.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm like, oh, P1 wins, dude. Hell yeah, let's go into the game 3. And that's just not the case.
Yeah, so P1, after that, they take top inhibitor with that Baron buff. And then the one thing that they fuck up is TSM forces a Baron, and as P1 took a Mountain Dragon. And then P1's like, oh, we got to stop them from getting the Baron. and then they just go in like in the worst way possible.
Yes, and they lose 2, plus they lose Baron. TSM stabilizes the game and then just runs it down.
Yeah, like you can tell TSM's a better team because like P1 with Baron from ahead took a top inhibitor and that's it. TSM from even once they get a Baron, they end the game. End the game. They dive mid. Like the Camille just goes ham as shit. Galio ults on top around bot inhibitor. They kill them all and they end the game.
But like this game was definitely a better showing from P1.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Still like not a team. I'd be like they're top 4.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe top 6, but we're really cutting it close on like the 5-6 slot.
Yeah, especially with Dignitas winning, which I think is the next thing we're going to talk about actually.
Yeah. So going to the next game, CLG versus Dig. One of the 2 major upsets of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know if you consider the other one a statistical upset based on the rankings.
I think it's an upset based off like the team stories.
Yes. I would consider the same thing. Dignitas wins the series 2-0 against the current rank 1 team, which I think is still the current rank 1 just because TSM hasn't played the game. So they were 9-2 before this series. Dignitas beats them 2-0, 9-3. For the most part, I didn't know what to expect this series. So when you think about Dignitas as a whole, I'm just like, okay, well, they got this jungler that can pop off. Yeah, Shrimp, he's really good. Keen's like maybe kind of inconsistent. His Cassio is pretty good. Other stuff, you're not sure where it's going to go. Someday it's great, but their team doesn't know how to split push, actually.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't really rely on him. Like, they can't really use Someday to his full potential on carries. And then their bot lane is just, like, average to below average.
Right, and you're going up against CLG, who Darshan is having his best split in years, smashing people. Huhi, who has stepped up tremendously to become just a legitimate carry threat. And then a bot lane, which sometimes in lane is a little inconsistent, but has a ton of playmaking. So you think this is a horrible matchup for
Yeah, and what ends up happening, actually, is that Adrian gets subbed in, and Adrian and Altec just start taking over.
And Huhi plays his worst series this split so far.
That's probably true. He's played some really good series on average.
So, like, I think, like, if you said this would be, like, a below-average series for Huhi, like, a year ago. Whereas, like, now this is probably, like, for sure his worst series this split. And part of it came down to the ban phase where he was pretty heavily targeted. You see there was Aurelion Sol.
I mean, he gets 3 bans, but he gets good picks off of it. Like, he gets 3 bans, he gets left with, what, Syndra? It's like...
Corki.
Corki
into Syndra.
Yeah. So, that's a great top-tier mid lane pick, and then he gets solo killed.
Well, you know why, right? He took Cleanse.
Yeah.
The reason he gets solo killed is because Keen just fucking runs at him, and then you don't have barrier, heal, or exhaust.
Well, to be fair, that was a bad position to be in the first place.
But he was full health. He didn't have. I don't know if he had enough mana to Valkyrie away.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, so Syndra just ran at him and killed him. But like, why the fuck are you taking Cleanse? It's literally just Thresh Syndra with a Nidalee. Like, you take Cleanse when you have to worry about like the chain CC. Like, if it was Elise Syndra, I get it.
Yeah, but this is a situation where most Corkis, if they want potential to Valk into fights, you would take Exhaust in this situation. Or you would take maybe TP.
Or Barrier, if you're afraid of getting...
Barrier would be the safest
But yeah,
option.
I think his summoner choice was horrible here, and that's why he ends up getting solo killed and kind of like ran over this game. There was like not many times where he used his cleanse effectively. Where there would have been multiple times to use the other things effectively.
I also think that COG's choice to take Varus this game was incorrect.
Yeah, that was really random
That
to
was
me.
really bad. For me, Varus versus Kalista isn't a winning matchup. It's like a matchup where it's kind of even, where you have the opportunity to pick Tristana on the board. Their team already has a lot of CC in the other 3 roles that aren't mid lane. And so I think that for the most part, this could be a situation where they need winning lanes because they're playing into, well, they don't know they're playing to Nidalee, but they should know the option to be able to pick that as there.
Yeah.
And so the thing about Nidalee right now is she beats every jungler in the non-coordinated setting. What you do with Nidalee is you have winning, like at least one winning side to be able to make it so that the Nidalee can constantly evade you. And unfortunately, their bot lane lost so hard that Nidalee got to take over bot side jungle.
Yeah, and Dardoch played decently. He got like a really early kill off on the top side to get that matchup in his favor in the Gnar Renekton, which is already decent for Gnar anyways. But yeah, like you said, there's the solo kill mid. Shrimp keeps pressuring mid super hard. I don't think they kill him again, but they force him back like once or twice.
Shrimp lives in the bot side jungle around like that side, and Dardoch can't do anything because his bot lane lost so hard and mid lane got solo killed.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is the entire strategy has to just slam top lane, which is like it's not ideal for them at all.
Right, because you're setting a Renekton back even further, and it's like, well, he's already behind. He's just going to become a fucking meat shield. And then the carries of, Syndra, Kalista are like snowballing elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, and honestly, this game stalls out in the favor for CLG in the mid game. Literally about 4 minutes of play or 5 minutes of play where Dig doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
they have like a lead that just kind of stays the same across the 16 to 20 minute mark, and then randomly
it's like 25 minutes. It's a pretty big gap. 25 minutes is the next time I have notes where there's like a 2-for-2 and Baron for Dignitas because they just kind of force it and they use Kalista.
Was it a 2-for-2? I thought it was a 2-for-0. Like Hui.
Well, it was a weird 2-for-2 because it was a 2-for-0 into a Baron force into getting Baron and dying
I was
twice.
Gonna say,
so the net is a 2-for-2.
Hui and Afro just like die.
Yeah, they just get picked.
In a bad situation, they lose a Baron and that's it. That's just game. And against a lot of good teams, that's just game over.
I mean, they did kind of get back into it. Like they had a 2-for-0 around mid, but then there's a situation where Dignitas is forcing Baron, and CLG is like, we'll trade for Elder. And then, like, Dignitas just does the Baron and gets down in time to collapse for the Elder.
And they 3-for-0 the fight, and the game's over. So, for the most part, it just was like maybe they could come back, but no, Dignitas is able to clean this up in kind of just bad fashion for CLG. I think the big takeaways from this game is, like, they kind of realized they couldn't draft a losing bot lane. Or potential losing bot lane into into like maybe aggressive jungle picks. So going to the second game, they changed it up a little bit to where they're picking a good bot lane matchup.
Right. So they basically do exactly what you said. Where this time they grab the Tristana. They also early rotation Gragas Gnar this time around, and then this time they grab the Syndra. So overall, it's a really similar draft to the first game.
Well, I think they got a full bot lane counter where they have one of the Thresh counters, the Morgana pick, and one of the Kalista counters, the Triss pick. And so generally, I'm just like, okay, well, this should be much better for them.
To be fair, it's not a bot lane that you counter pick and win. Like you instant.
You should just have full pressure, and the other team should have a very hard time ganking it. Like very, very hard time ganking it.
Right. So the Thresh the Morgana more neutralizes the Thresh. If you land a binding, yes, you can kind of fuck him up, but a lot of the time it's just to make it so Thresh, because like Thresh is so strong because of his playmaking, and Morgana kills that, and then Kalista has shorter range, doesn't have like great push, so you can't like completely bully the Triss.
Yeah, and Triss going to late game with Morg's shield plus a superior range should be an effective counter.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is CLG tries to go top early on again because that's kind of what they do. And with Nunu, Dignitas, and Kalista just take a 3-minute and 45-second Infernal Dragon. Just right away. Just basically clear down into Infernal.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Nunu can do this on any dragon in the game. So you could you skill 2 points in the queue and literally can do dragon without any help. It's a Nunu specific thing, essentially.
And once again, CLG's bot lane kind of is just getting reamed through not much like jungler attention. Like they have to play a little bit more defensive because I think they know Dardoch's on the top side, or in this type case it's Omar God, and again they know Omar God's around the top side, and so they can kind of play more aggressive, and CLG has to play back, but at the same time like they're just losing CS pretty badly.
And on top of that, with this losing CS, like.
Adrian's everywhere.
Yeah, Adrian just runs mid as Thresh, ends up killing Hui, and it's just a terrible situation to be put in. CLG tries to make plays around topside. I think both the plays end up getting turned.
Yeah.
It's like one of the play. No, they made one play at topside. He got turned. I think they made a play on Infernal Dragon or
Rift Herald.
Yeah. Oh, the Rift Herald. Right.
Yeah, and
that was brutal.
That was so dumb. We're like, so Dignitas with their winning bot lane roam around the map, get some kills. They try and force a Rift Herald. CLG. Darshan on Gnar hits an auto attack on the eye to steal it away by himself. And then they push them off of it so Darshan can go and secure the buff. And instead of just being like, hey, we won this situation, Huhi like starts running up to actually try and kill them, gets hooked and killed. And just like horrible game out of Huhi. At this point, I think it's like 12 minutes in or 15 minutes in, he's 1-3.
On top of that, CLG in general is like 5 kills behind, give or take.
Against double Infernal?
Double Infernal into Mountain.
Yeah.
And then slowly, CLG just gets ground out. Like, I think they had, again, this was one of their 2 plays they tried to do early. They tried to make another play later where, like, kind of works. So maybe they trade 1 for 1. And then eventually they just can't fight the enemy team at all. With such a big lead, no one can deal damage to the body that is Nunu. And they get free objective control with Nunu as well.
Yeah, so of course they eventually just like force down the Baron and take double inhib in front of them, and there's just not a way for CLG to really start a fight. Like you have Gragas Gnar who can kind of like jump in there, but if the enemy team is ready for it and like Thresh peels and Nunu peels, like it's so hard to get through that front line.
Yeah, if Gragas Gnar even jump in, like the Nunu can peel their backline from coming in to where you're not getting much.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the case where it does feel like CLG really can't do much.
Yeah, and so this was probably one of the, again, worst series from Hui. Pretty bad CLG series in general.
Their bot lane didn't look good.
Yeah, the one good thing that, or some of this good stuff you have to say about Dig is I actually think this is probably Dig's best iteration of their bot lane. Oh, I don't know if it's because, like, what ended up happening, but...
For whatever reason, it's Adrian and All-Tech now, no longer Laud and Big, or Laud and Special, who also saw play. Did Special see a game this season on Dig?
I don't even remember.
Whatever. Either way, the bot lane this time around, who knows if it's just because it was Kalista Thresh 2 games in a row?
Which, to be fair, is super abusive.
It's the best bot lane.
Yeah,
right
super abusive bot lane. But their bot lane did really well and did a lot of work this series.
Yeah, so the funny thing about Dig is even though I think everyone unanimously agrees someday is their best player, it feels like they can't win if he's the only one going off.
Yeah,
it's like the opposite of the C9 problem.
Where Jensen
has to go off for them to win. It doesn't matter what else is happening. Where this time it's like it doesn't matter if somebody's going off. Someone else on the team needs to help.
Yeah, it's because Sunday's such a good player. He can function under a lot of situations, almost any situation. So he needs someone else to help him carry because they
can't split.
Yeah, they can't split push at all. Their team has no idea, no concept of how to do it.
Anyways, a quick 2-0 for Dignitas also. Off some bot lane snowballing and Huki not playing well.
Right. So overall, good series by Dignitas. You're worried if you're a CLG fan, but honestly, if you're a CLG fan, you probably expected this.
Yep. You need to come down.
As
like, a CLG fan.
You need they're the top of the ladder. You need those games where you're just like, no, they're CLG. I remembered.
Yeah. That brings us to the next series, which I believe is C9 Envy.
Yes.
Is it on the sheet?
Yep.
It is on the sheet. All right, C9 versus Envy. The other upset, coming back-to-back right after the CLG loss, is C9 loses 2-0 to Envy.
Now, this was, for me, fairly unexpected. I can maybe see a world where CLG loses, which is kind of funny. I don't know if I even considered C9 losing.
It's weird because they're only one win away in the standings. It was 6-4 versus 5-5. Oh. And C9 hasn't looked super good this season, but they did just beat TSM. They went to Rift Rivals. They went 3-3, whatever. It's top European team, so you can understand being close. And you come back, and you hear Niski starting, and Envy has kind of been flip-flopping between Pyrian and Niski.
Right, and Apollo's kind of like lost his luster. Like, he used to be super good first couple weeks. Now he's like maybe a little bit more down there.
Yeah.
Still a top AD.
Still really good, but
not like the best one.
Seraph's still Seraph. Lyra's not dominating.
We'll talk about Seraph.
Don't get me started on game 2, bro.
Holy shit. That's what I saw, and like after I saw that, I was just like, I'm done watching this game.
Yeah, that made me want to kill myself, actually. It was just so fucking bad.
Okay, so
let's get through game 1.
Yes.
So game 1, there's really not too much to say other than you have C9 picking Elise Renekton to shit on top. Envy has Shen, and no surprise when C9 tries to go top, Lyra's there to counter it out. He stops that dive. Seraph still falls a bunch behind in CS, but he kept the turret healthy. He didn't die, not getting snowballed on, and then Lyra goes bottom and starts making plays down there.
And this is a really slow game, like
super slow.
When I'm talking slow, I literally write it's 4 kills in 19 minutes. That's what I mean by slow. And eventually, Envy win fights at 30 minutes, 3-0.
Don't forget the one pick on Smoothie to get Baron at 24 minutes. It's so boring. So like it's just like Smoothie's a little too far forward. They have a pretty good chain CC comp with Xayah, Thresh, Syndra. So yeah, they
and the one thing is, as an Envy fan, like you have to be careful when Envy's going late game, because if the game's even going to late game, Envy has historically never had a great decision.
I mean, game 2 proves that more. Like they almost lost game 2 just off some late game problems.
Right, and so you're very worried when you're going even against C9 late game, where like C9 has had like bad early game problems. They want to go late game even because they're pretty good. like going to late game, like up there in terms of team fighting with like like below a little bit below TSM, but like maybe like that's it. They're like top 3 in terms of team fighting. And so the one thing I have to say this game is or this series, what do you think about Niski?
Niski?
Is that what he's called?
I think it's Niski.
Nesquik? Can we just call him that?
Nesty iced tea?
I'm down to just call him that. No, he's probably like here by
Is he chocolate milk?
Yeah.
Or is he an iced tea?
I mean, what would you, after you saw him play the first game, do you remember the Casio? Was it the Casio play that you ended up playing?
It was the second game where I was like the Casios.
Oh yeah, that's the second game.
But anyways, game 1, it's mostly based off the fact that Envy has Shen, and there's like these random like little pickoffs that happen, and Envy just keeps coming out ahead, and then they get the Baron, they get the bigger lead. They get a 3-0 while Apollo is just like split pushing. Like C9 lost their mind and kind of were like, let's pretend High's still on the team and go for some crazy ass shot calls. So like while Envy's pushing down mid, they or bottom, C9 tries to go up mid, and then Envy wraps around them, and then they lose a 5v4 because Niski hits like a big stun, and 3 of them die, and Apollo takes the bot inhib, and then it's like just really, really weird. There's another Baron that they get, and then they end the game through bottom.
I was just really confused. Like, this series was kind of confusing in itself because I was watching this at the same time I was watching the other series play, and both the games were relatively slow.
Yeah.
Like, very, very kind of slow build up to the point where I'm like, oh my god, please let something happen. I don't have anything to say about this.
It was 4v4. 4v3, like whatever. Like people were recalling. It was a fucked up situation where C9 was pushed up mid. Yeah, it was just a really weird game, and you would it was a team game out of Envy. Like no one really stood out. I guess Lyra for like the early pathing, you could say.
Yeah, but that's kind of what you expect from Lyra. I actually think Lyra's been playing relatively worse the early parts of the season, and maybe now it's starting to come a little bit back up.
Right, but I feel like the rest of the team is stronger around him, so he doesn't feel that Mike Young burden quite as much as he used to, where he's like, I gotta get us leads, because
their bot lane's doing great.
Their bot lane's doing great. I think the Niski substitution was phenomenal, because the scary thing, if you put Pyrian in, is Jensen just runs him over, and Pyrian can't make his map plays. But against Jensen, Niski just needs to hold up.
Yeah, I think Niski is actually pocket Jensen. That's how I think of it. Not like bug.
That's a big comparison. Jensen has like an 11 CSD at 10 career average. Like, actually murders people.
Okay, in terms of play style,
yes,
that's exactly how it's seen.
Yes.
Like, he needs pressure. If the enemy if he's in the game, both the teams will go toward mid lane.
Yeah,
it's easy to mess him up if his team isn't backing him up. But if he is, he's like a mechanically good player.
And what I think was actually really interesting this time was, especially when we get into game 2, most of the action was in the side lanes, which is going to favor Envy. Because even though you have Niski and Jensen, who both tend to pull a lot of pressure, that didn't actually happen this series, and so they both just went even with each other.
Which, if you're going even with Jensen,
that's usually good for you. Even though Envy's late game isn't that good, they're winning on other parts of the map. So it worked out fine for them. So that gets us to game 2. So do you want to take the Hakuo part or the Seraph part?
I'll take the Seraph part.
Fuck, I want the Seraph part. I'll take the Hakuo part.
Oh, you can input it on the Hakuo. Wait, the Seraph part. Seraph was the first part where he doesn't.
No. And the beginning was Hakuho. So this game starts. C9 go for a pretty standard invade on the Raptors of the enemy team to kind of force them off of it. And Hakuho was up there, and he actually trades back on them really, really aggressively, to the point where he's running into the river 1v2 while Lyra's finishing the camp off and hitting them out of there. And it ends up in a situation where C9 starts getting pincered a little bit because Apollo comes up from the bot lane, and now they're kind of meeting up. And Hakuo plays it really aggressively. There's a ton of summoner trades. Lyra follows up after this, after finishing his Raptors, to skip his red and goes into the blue side. And you end up in a split map situation. And then this is where the Seraph part comes in.
Oh, I love this part. Okay. So in a split map situation, that your top lane is going to get dove. Or like, you're going to see a lot of pressure. You should be ready to get dove and take a lot of jungle pressure. So what ends up happening? The top wave gets built up, and the jungle comes in, and Seraph is good. He's away from the tower. It's not like a situation where he should die. And then he just makes the dumbest play ever.
So he walks, like, while Contracts goes for the mirror invade, going for his blue buff. He walks up to try and harass him off of it. It's a level 2 ᵐᵉᵐᵉ versus a level 3 Rek'Sai. He gets fucked up.
TP's back.
Gets interrupted as that wave's building, so he has to TP back. Where should I TP back? Onto the turret, which has a wave coming into it, and I can try and get the XP and use my flash and all this stuff to survive the gang. Or I can TP onto the Gronk, where the Rek'Sai still is. What do you take?
To be fair, I actually thought if he just straight up tried to kill the Rek'Sai, he might have been able to get something out of it. But he did the worst possible situation where he was like, let's try to run back into lane from the Gromp. So, of course, Contracts is just like, wait, this guy's an idiot. He's just trying to cut me to get to the wave that has my teammate and 2 waves on it.
Yeah.
So he gets cut by the Rek'Sai. He finally flashed. He makes it to the wave. And then the Rek'Sai right-clicks him.
Yeah, he gets to the wave at 200 health with no flash.
And then he tries to flash out play Rek'Sai on Burrow, where if you're playing Rek'Sai, you right-click the other person.
Yeah.
And so he wastes flash, wastes TP, dies. I think is it 3 waves or 2 waves?
I think it's 3 because it's like 15 to 25.
That's a situation where you lose the game because your top lane actually just played like an idiot. And I think the CS in 5 minutes or 7 minutes turns into something like 30 to 70.
Yeah. It's just so dumb. It's like, all right, he's a playmaker. ᵐᵉᵐᵉ is at the end of the day someone who wants to make a play. And this is a situation where like your job right here is to take it up the butt and survive as best you can because your bot lane's winning. And he doesn't do that. He tries to like set Contracts further behind because he's like, I'll help my jungler get a bigger lead. And it's like, no, dude, just sit under your turret and collect your farm. And instead, he goes and does this. And honestly, Envy should lose the game off this.
Yeah, but somehow he ends up going from 35 CS to 70 to like going like 3, 1, and 4. And you're just
so like he gets ganked again because like the wave of course pushes out. He pushes that wave out and he's level 4 and he gets ganked again, this time by the Taliyah who roams up and kills him. And then he dies again. He's at like 1 and 3 or maybe 0 and 3 and like you said, down 40 CS.
And like what happens is, okay, well when Envy switches their pressure back top side, he just starts picking up kills. Like he just like Jarvan ults someone who's already dead. So he gets like a kill here, a kill there, and suddenly his scoreline looks not bad. It's like, oh wow, he did a lot.
Well, I mean, I don't think he died for a really long time the rest of the game.
Yeah, actually, he probably played pretty well after that.
He played pretty well after that. To be fair, he frontlined well, but it was just like he was doing everything he could to make them lose in the early game, and it felt like finally he was like, okay, fine, we'll just win. And then he started playing well.
And when he did that, Envy has a huge lead at this point. It's like a 7K gold lead, something enormous.
Well, because this whole time, like Envy was making plays around the bot lane. They on the second blue buff, they invaded again. I think they killed Sneaky or forced him out. They take the turret. Envy, there's a bunch of skirmishes around the bot lane that they always come out a little bit ahead on. And then finally, 26 minutes in, there is a Baron after like a mid thing, and then. I think they overchase a little bit, and that's where they kind of fuck up. And this is where we were saying that Envy late game still is a problem.
Yeah, this is a situation where Envy should never lose. They're like, I think they're over 10K ahead with Baron.
Well, you skipped a lot.
Oh, wait. Oh, am I skipping into the second Baron?
Yeah, you just skipped to the second Baron. Because the first Baron is the one, because it stays around 2 or 3K for a long time, because they win a fight, they get Baron, and then they try and contest the Infernal Dragon with 3 people, while ᵐᵉᵐᵉ goes top and Lyra recalls. And ᵐᵉᵐ dies staying top to the Gnar because he's still far behind. The people who contested the Infernal Dragon give up 2 more kills. So after winning a skirmish and getting Baron, 3 people die. Because they just split up everywhere.
I'm not trying to remember this. I had to jump through both games at the same time. I actually think I missed that series of plays. It's always the last game of the
when you're coming over.
Yeah, when I'm coming over, I'm like trying to watch 2 series on my phone. That becomes a little bit.
Yeah, you can watch 2 series at home, not too bad. Watching 2 series on a mobile device.
On the mobile device, like driving here, is pretty brutal, honestly.
But that's where the lead comes from. Is like they fuck up this Baron, but then they do another one, and they get the lead again. And that's when the C9 play happens. If you saw that. Like the huge engage by Smoothie?
Was this the situation where they had like a really, really big engage and then they reverse push all the way down?
In
and
the bot inhib?
They get aced and the reverse pushes to end the game.
Yeah. Yeah, so what ends up happening is Envy gets another Baron, they group up around mid, Smoothie hits a huge 3-man Rakan charm into a Gnar ultimate against the wall, into a Feather Storm, blah, blah, blah. They fuck Envy up. They push down the bot lane. They take the bot inhibitor. They reset. Elder Dragon's coming up. And then Contracts is just too far ahead of his team off the reset and gets picked and dies. And then they just lose that fight, and then the game ends.
That was a situation where I was really worried for Envy because I was watching it thinking like, okay, Envy's got this game in the bag, and then I'm like, oh, Envy just threw super bad.
Super bad.
Because I'm watching with Josh as well, and Josh is like, wait, it's over, and then not.
I mean, he's not wrong. It is over. It's just for Envy, they won. But this is a game where they still show some late game struggles, but Niski played really well.
This was the Cassiopeia game.
Yes, this is the Cassiopeia game.
That was when I saw a series of events where he like mechanically ended up essentially hard carrying the middle fight.
Yeah, where he chased the Gnar all the way up to get the last kill.
That was like, oh my god, he played super well this game.
Yeah, he played really, really well. Most of the action was in the side lanes to keep them in the game, just because, I mean, it was like a split map situation the entire game. But he played really well. And Envy end up upsetting C9 in a very surprising way.
And it's not in the way where you're like, Envy didn't deserve it, because C9 played like super bad. I thought even with Envy playing bad, certain things of Envy playing bad, Envy actually ended up, Envy played well enough to win the game off their own strengths.
And it's a team now at 6-5 that you're saying, okay, maybe they can actually make a playoff push because they have a mechanically strong mid laner in Niski, they have a good bot lane and a really good jungler, and as much shit as we give Scarra for being brain dead sometimes, other times he plays well.
Yeah, so
he's
like,
just super inconsistent.
Exactly. He's like just decision making wise, just a little bit off sometimes.
Yeah. Seraph made a good play by cutting the wave. Yeah, he made a good play. I mean, at this point, does that feel like a huge play to you? I feel like it happens so much now. It's pretty standard. Cutting the wave?
I think cutting the wave is pretty standard, you know? I think people were most impressed by it during when SKT did it.
Yeah, it was like very impressive maybe like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's a situation where like that's to be expected. Because even now, all the pro teams practice to where they always watch where the wave pushes up and have someone go back.
If you lose a fight, the first thing you try and do is like, how do I stop them from taking stuff?
Yes.
And often the answer is cut the wave. So like, it's a little less impressive this time around. Hagaho, yes, he had a huge game. He got the player of the game for that.
I mean, Hakuho is just like Envy's bot lane is just really good, and I think that with Apollo playing much better this season, people are starting to know this. Hakuho has always been like a top 5 support in the region.
And I think part of that comes down to the support meta right now. It's not on complete brain dead Karma, Lulu, Nami stuff.
Oh yeah, it's on like great engaged champions mode. Rakan can do some amazing initiation. Morgana is in the meta, and that's what he's literally known to be one-tricking before he went to pro play, so just super good player.
Which brings us to our last series of the day, something we'll spend a lot of time on, I'm sure. TL versus FlyQuest.
Oh no.
Another 2-0.
Oh no. Okay, this is a 2-0. The first game just went off the rails. I think it ended up being about 46-minute game. Very back and forth action, but maybe not in the back and forth action that you'd want from a very intense game. You want a back and forth action where like both the teams are making very smart. They're trying to force errors on the other team. But in this game, what seemed to happen is that there are unforced errors happening from both teams. And so because of that, you got like a very sloppy game.
And to be fair, I think like the first 15-20 minutes were like,
oh, it wasn't bad.
It was okay. Where like FlyQuest is trying to pressure mid, Golden Glue is absorbing it just fine. Lorlo in the J4 Gnar matchup is able to get a solo kill after forcing balls under his turret, and then like people are roaming up.
Yeah,
and he gets cut off, so he dies.
I think Lorlo does a great job this game of extending pressure. And the one thing that actually made me mad about this game was, I looked at Lemon's item build. I was actually so mad. Did you see
No, I didn't.
Okay, so he starts the coin item, right?
Yeah.
And this is his at 10 minutes. This is what he has. He has boots, the upgraded coin item, and Dark Seal. And I was just like, oh my god, because at the same time that they were trying to pressure bot side, because they switched sides of pressure because Lorlo's winning. They have 2 pink wards in the bot side river, but no wards, because Lemon literally has a Dark Seal, and he can't get vision
Are
control.
you trying to tell me Sightstone is supposed to be purchased on supports? Is that what you're getting at?
Oh my god!
I'm not sure I agree.
When I saw that, I was just like, wow. Like when people wonder, like, why couldn't they have pressured harder on that side? They had the perfect ward control for the jungler to go through like the mid river into the enemy jungle, but they couldn't actually put wards down in there because they don't have wards to place down. Like their support roaming in that situation wouldn't matter. And so, yeah, they got pushed in, so I guess, like, he didn't need the Sightstone, but...
Yeah, I mean...
I just struggle to see what Dark Seal does.
It's pretty tragic. I mean, TL's bot lane, the Callista Thresh combo, they're pushing them in, they're winning the lane. Like you said, it is hard to get out and get wards, but, like, there's plenty of times where, like, both teams reset, and then you run mid with your jungler, and you place a couple wards, and then go back into your lane. You're still kind of losing, but... Yeah, Dark Seal's not going to win you that.
Yeah, and so that's to some extent why I attribute, like, okay, so TL, they got a lead top side, and they were able to push it faster than FlyQuest. Even though FlyQuest could have maybe pushed something out more, they weren't able to get enough control to be able to do that.
Yeah, and eventually, like, the fights start breaking in TL's favor. They start getting a decent gold lead. There's, like, a dragon fight where, like, yeah, FlyQuest gets the dragon, but 2 people die, and TL takes mid. Lorlo's splitting pretty well. I think he takes like an inner turret by himself, and things are looking pretty good. Except when they get their first Baron, 34 minutes in, nothing happens. They don't win. They never win any fight decisively.
Yeah, even before that, when they were trying to get Baron, like TL almost gets Baron, and someone just gets picked.
Yeah, like Golden Glue doesn't wrap back around the rest of his team. He like tries to clear a ward and high kills him.
Right, and so like this is what I'm talking about when it comes to unforced errors. From like this point on. Like, kind of like the 34th minute to, like, almost the end of the game.
It's basically, like, a little bit past 25 minutes is when things just start, like, what's happening? None of this makes sense. You can't, like... I stopped taking notes on it because it didn't make sense.
Same here. It's like, okay, well, they win a team fight in Baron. It should... and because they're up 6k gold, this game should be over. But then...
Like, Piglet jumps into the pit to try and chase out, I think, the Gragas, or maybe it was the J4. But the J4 just leaves the pit, and now he's in the pit, and then Orianna kills him. And like even though they got Baron in a 4 and a 2-for-1, they overextend and they end up giving up 2 more people. So it ends up they get Baron, but they lose 3. And you're like, what is happening?
Or when FlyQuest gets Elder, somehow Golden Glue dies bot lane, and like right before he dies, he tries to like flash ult someone just to get like a revenge kill or like damage on, and like that doesn't work. So he doesn't have sums for any potential fight after that. And this is where they have Elder, so they should be winning this fight because the way they got Elder was like the other team face checked the Maokai coming in, and you're just like, oh, okay, so like TL just has this game now, and that's just not the case. And eventually it gets to the point where both teams are 6 items. Or 5 items, and you still don't know who the victor is going to be.
Yeah, and basically what ends up happening is FlyQuest just win a 4-for-1 near Elder and kind of just end the game. It really didn't make a ton of sense. I think High got a quadra kill in this one, and like
he did, and I don't even know, like it was
TL was just like split decision super hard. Like Piglet's on the Elder Dragon trying to finish it with an Ori, while like J4 and Ori fuck up the rest of the team comp.
Eventually, Ori gets so big that where if she QWs, even the tank's health gets cut by 20-25%. So she's just enormous, and eventually you'll just see situations where near the end of the game, she just QWs when they're sieging and just eliminates, I think, Piglet instantly. If not, it was like someone just like
it was somebody. So what do you think about the Maokai pick? Because this is something we forgot to mention was that Inori was on Maokai out of nowhere. So what do you think of it?
It's from what I understand, it's not like a management pick. It's not like a pick where the management's just like, you gotta be playing tanks for us, right? He, alongside Saint Vicious, have been spamming Maokai and jungle since like it became somewhat popular in North America, and so I think that it's just a pick that he's been practicing a lot.
Okay, but how do you feel it fits into the comp of Callista Thresh, Gnar, Syndra?
I think it's okay given that Gnar does like a decent amount of damage, and Maokai gives like enough damage as an okay amount of damage as well. I do maybe worry a little bit if they had like maybe.
I hate it for one reason.
Why?
I think it makes sense in the comp as a whole. It's fine. But your Team Liquid, you need to be able to snowball, and you have a great draft. You have 3 winning lanes. Just fucking pick any like scrappy jungler that Inori's good on and try and take the game over.
I think for Inori right now, and for most junglers, people are realizing Cinderhulk's just super OP. So until we get to the next patch where Kha'Zix is God, for the most part, you're looking at Sejuani, Maokai, Zac, Gragas a lot. And I think that them taking this pick is okay.
But you can take...
Because he's been snowballing with this pick in solo queues. And this is like his comfort pick at the moment. Now, not to be... like, I understand he's known for like his Rengar, Kha'Zix play. But I don't fault him for this pick.
I don't fault him for the pick. He was just a non-factor in a game where they were winning early, and I just felt like if they were able to like win these fights a little bit more decisively, they probably just like end the game. Like,
but I also don't think his pick was the reason why.
no, I'm not saying at all that they lost. It just felt like the Maokai did nothing because Team Liquid.
To be fair, I would prefer it to go even rather than what happens in the next game.
True. All right, that's 100% fair. If those are my two options, yes, Maokai going even late game is fine. But I just feel like with 3 winning lanes, you could even take fucking Nidalee and just like run in there and being annoying fuck.
Oh, Nidalee, 100% great pick.
Yeah, you're against the Gragas. He can't do shit against you. You have 3 winning lanes. You have tanks set up. You have everything.
If you have winning lanes with the front line, Nidalee is probably the best pick here. But it's also highly mechanically dependent. I don't know how much he plays it.
True.
And to be fair, probably the only reason why I'm okay with it is because I saw the second game. Or parts of the second game. So, are you good with this game?
Yeah, we're good with this game.
So this second game happens. What happened to Inori?
I mean, what happened to TL? Like, they're just brains. I mean, he plays Sejuani. He picked it.
Sej, by the way, I think at the moment is a good pick.
I liked it. What I saw. There was another series that played it. I don't remember exactly. Maybe
it's getting
maybe
picked
yesterday.
all over the place. It got picked in LCK. It got picked in Europe this morning. It's seen a large amount of tank priority at the moment. It's up there with Gragas and like the best tanks that are available. Gragas, Rek'Sai, and this are the 3 top tanks when Zac's banned.
And I think that part's fine. I mean, go on, dude. You tell me about Inori. And I'll tell you about TL's mid game.
He fell 3 levels behind this game because.
Did you like the dive?
I liked almost nothing of what I saw from Team Liquid this game. To be fair,
you didn't like the dive that got turned 0 for 2? That wasn't your cup of tea?
I'm almost convinced like Inori could have just farmed and been more effective if he had just like not moved out from the jungle. But
probably
like the thing is, you're looking at this Rek'Sai versus Sejuani matchup, right? And you're looking at Mike Young play this against TSM. And Mike Young does fall a little bit behind. But he understands like once you hit 6, you should be able to outperform the Rek'Sai because you have like a very impactful ulti. That's not how I feel like it is for Inori.
No, not at all. Like, and the saddest thing was like once they failed that dive, they went 0 for 2. I think the game was 2-2 at this point. 12 minutes into the game. For the next 13 minutes, there are no kills till 25 minutes, and the gold lead grows by 5K for FlyQuest. TL does literally nothing but just like throw objectives at them, and they just roll over and play dead. They're like, oh yeah, we just don't care, man. Like, we fucked that play up, our mental boom, we have no confidence, and they just give everything away.
Which I find is really surprising when you have a champion that has like initiation. Like,
yeah, they had so many tools: Narb, Braum, Ori, Sejuani, Trist.
Yeah, and like I would have loved to see them fail the initiation. You would be like, all right, well at least they tried.
Yeah, do something. Like they end up giving this 5K gold over. I think it balloons even more after FlyQuest gets a couple more kills.
Some disgusting number, and then when all hope feels lost,
they start forcing.
They start forcing, and the way they force is the dumbest way.
Well, it actually works the first time. They get a 3-for-1 at mid.
Yeah, this is how they force. And this is the Piglet style of how they force. You jump into the enemy team, and thank God Matt was there to follow him up with Braum shield. And even when he couldn't even cover all the angles, when Piglet jumps in, somehow pulls a 3-for-0 because it was technically the correct move to do. It just looked really scary at a moment's glance, and he starts forcing fights better than their Sejuani, which. I don't know if that's...
Right, and that's the sad... Like, Palo was the only one who seemed to have any fight left in him. But they still lose. And there's one play I have to talk about. Anyways, this game basically just fucking ends. Like, yeah, the TL tried to force down mid. They got 3-for-1. They're like, oh my god, maybe we can just force things. They force a Baron and they get killed.
Are you talking about the Rumble?
You can talk about the Rumble.
No, wait. I mean, it's like the Rumble ult that follows the fight where Piglet gets a 3-0. Rumble ult just like slaughters this team.
Is this the Baron?
Should be the next fight after.
I thought that was the Baron. It was a Baron. Josh said it was a Baron.
Yeah, he watched this fight with me, and it was just like, oh god, that Rumble ult was so good. Sorry, honestly, I don't have anything else to say.
All right, cool. Sick Rumble ult balls. Did you see the play? Top. Oh god, this kills me a little bit as a coach, ex-coach, whatever the fuck I am these days. Where
NA LCS analyst.
like there's a skirmish top. TL's bot lane gets forced out. Hyad roamed up there. Golden Glue matches, and the Morgana Lemon Nation is still in the area. And Golden Glue is now in top lane 1v1 versus Lucian with the Morgana who might still be around. And he just doesn't want to pressure the Lucian. It makes sense, but he's not sitting under his turret. He's like pushed up a little bit, and he's just spamming emotes. And Lemon Nation didn't fucking recall. He just hits him with a binding. They chunk him out. He loses his health, has to burn heal, runs away, backs, and then they take top turret.
Was he really spamming emotes?
Just,
I did not see that.
I'm almost positive he was spamming emotes. I'd have to see it again, but it's just like, what are you doing?
That stuff used to happen a lot.
It used to happen a lot, and it fucking killed me because I'm like, dude.
One of the Jensen's worst habits when you first started playing pro for like a full year, after he does a nasty skill shot dodge, he would always S key. Like
Yeah, just be like
always. And so it was something to a point where like even like all the players like caught on. There was like, wait, like after he does his dodge, he just like stands still. So people were like it's just something where I'm like, I know he wants to say something, but that's how he styles on the enemy player. And like that I look at that, I'm like, I don't think you should be doing that.
And to be fair, like spamming emotes happens. Like level 1, when two mids are staring at each other, you see the emote spam pretty often. It's not that, but it's like 16 minutes into the game. You just covered a rotation up to the top side to match the Lucian. You're sitting under your turret. You know Morgana might be around. You think she recalled. She was sitting in a brush. You're not sure. And you're in range of her to walk up like a couple hundred units away from you and then shoot a Morgana binding. And then you get hit. And it's like, where's your situational awareness? Like, where's your brain at right now?
You watched this game. Why are you asking me a question?
I don't know. It's just sad that like they lost. Like they just lost an objective. They just lose a top turret off and he loses heal. It's just sad. Anyways,
that's kind of the phrase we're gonna just put on some
just
Team
sad.
Liquid games right now.
they should just rebrand to It's Just Sad.
I mean, they just got an investment from Disney.
It's just sad.
Disney.
Oh yeah. They did not really get an investment from Disney.
Oh, they didn't?
So
Sorry,
I didn't.
I just read it.
I don't do any fact checking.
Yeah,
So what I was told by people who didn't read the article, like they
That's
got
me.
investment by Disney.
I just glanced
I
at
did not
it.
read the article,
Yeah.
nor did I read the Reddit comments. But someone at Riot read the article, and what they told me was Disney invested in ᵐᵉᵐᵉ, the group that owns Team Liquid.
Oh,
that's an investment firm. So what ended up happening was Disney invested in an investment firm
That invests
to continue, to keep investing. So apparently every year Disney picks 10 companies and they put money in them. And ᵐᵉᵐᵉ was one of the companies that they picked. They did not pick Team Liquid. They picked the holding group of Team Liquid. So
Disney!
that's my understanding of what happened, and I did not actually do any fact checking.
That's believable. I believe you.
Yeah, it sounds pretty understandable. You just
Pretty soon we'll have all the pro players do like the Disney introductions.
You're watching
Disney. I love that. You're watching the Disney Channel.
that's so Raven here.
Oh, and they do like all kinds of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I would love to see that. That would be so fun.
What's the most offensive name in the LCS?
Grignay before
Balls.
they didn't change it. Oh, balls.
This is Balls. You're watching the Disney Channel.
Whoop, whoop.
You're watching Balls on the Disney Channel.
Anyways, that's it for GLT, Greatest League Talk Show today. All 6 series down. Fast day. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
I enjoyed it because it was quick.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, there were some upsets. There were some good games.
Yeah, I like that there was an upset. I like that I didn't need to watch 3 games of Team Liquid.
Right, that was the concern.
Yeah, that's always a concern.
Always a bit of a panic button situation.
Oh, God. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We did say that we would do a Q&A at the end of the episode.
I don't think Josh will be helping us because Evo's on, and he's just sitting here watching Evo. Chudat versus SFAT on the screen right now.
Dude, it's 1-1.
It's 1-1. Is it still best of threes?
Yeah. It's best of 3 through the whole thing.
Oh, even top 8?
Yeah, that's Evo, dude. Evo's always best of 3.
But they had...
They do best of 5 at the grand final.
I thought they did best of 5 in top 8 last year.
I don't think so. That's like why Evo's always so
okay.
I thought it was contentious because they did best of 3 like so far.
Regardless, the entire time we've been having this show, Josh has been watching Evo and making like expressions, but he can't talk. So he's just like oh.
Sometimes I look down, I saw like the end of the Wizzy axe set, and I was like, oh, but I can't react because I'm like, no, I'm talking about this. I'm 100% laser focus.
Oh my god, the AMSA
Didn't see it.
AMSA Westfall set was like so close. Last stock situation, game 3.
Who won?
Westfalls.
Actually, I don't mind.
I'm sad.
Anyways, on to our actual topic, Q&A for Greatest League Talkshow. How do you want to do this?
I mean, we didn't tweet about it, so I think we should probably just say anything in chat that shows up, we'll answer for the next 5-10 minutes.
All right. So if you guys got great questions for us that aren't how much you love TSM or why did we not do an episode on Rift Rivals or on how good Tekken is, feel free to ask.
Pokken, dude, it's all about the Pokken right now.
Dude, when Pokken 1 was literally Suiking mirrors, I got so mad.
That was so funny.
That's literally Injustice. I was talking about how mad I was.
Just laser beams.
No, they did Aquaman mirrors in Injustice 1. It was, I got so mad.
Just range. All right, this is going pretty fast.
Is COG Gragas priority too high? Oh, that's an interesting one.
It's actually really interesting.
I think coming into this next patch, it is.
Well, I even think a little bit right now it's too high because you didn't see them really going. I think they could have gone for Callista over it.
It's getting first picked in the draft so much.
Yeah, what was the? I think they could have. The first game they first pick it, and the enemy team gets Callista Thresh, and they didn't prioritize taking Thresh away because they could have actually picked it away. And then the second game, Dig first picks Callista, and they still don't prioritize Thresh. So it feels like maybe their bot lane priority is a little bit off.
No, I think they just like playing the Thresh counters, like the Kench, the Morgana.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily blame them too much for it. I do think, though, like, Afro on Thresh is also a beast.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would like to see maybe their higher priority than that. I think that maybe a little bit too much Gragas priority going now and into next patch. If they have Gragas priority next patch, I think they're messing up.
Because Kha'Zix should be better. You should have higher 80 carry priority.
Yeah, Jace priority shoots to the moon. It's actually this next week will be the dumbest League of Legends you will see all year. I guarantee.
Yeah, everyone hates this patch. You will see a random meta evolve that I'm sure by the time 7.16 comes or 7.15
will just be gone.
It'll be gone. You're gonna see one meta.
You're literally gonna see Ezreals with Duskblade going around shooting people. Like, it's actually stupid.
Yeah, it's bad.
Anyways, let's keep going.
I thought I saw another interesting one.
Thoughts on Omar God? Average so far.
I think not super impressive. I watched him a decent amount in the Challenger series. Not super impressive.
For playing against him, I think he's one of the harder junglers to play against. I think that the talent surrounding him is less than in other teams.
Right. I mean, he doesn't have GBM. He doesn't have even Solo or like Licorice.
But overall, like, not super impressive in the LCS so far.
Yeah, I think he looks like a guy who should probably be LCS caliber, should be in the LCS maybe, but I can't tell you definitively, like, he's better than X jungler that dude shouldn't be playing. What do you think about Kane for pro play?
Garbage.
Garbage.
You might be, especially in the next patch, he's unplayable because the junglers are too good and the top laners are too good.
Well, from my understanding, his early game is not good.
Yeah.
And there's like almost never in history a time where you just pick a not good early game jungler.
Unless it's, but even if it's a solo laner, you're literally playing Kane against Jace. You're gonna get your shit kicked in. Like,
yeah,
it's super good.
Yeah, junglers, even when they're like, oh, I'm Zach, I scale well to late game, like, he still has early game pressure in the fact his ganks are good.
Yeah.
And like the closest thing to like a scaling jungler that we've ever had is like maybe, I mean, since season 3, season 4 is like Nocturne or ᵐᵉᵐᵉ. Yeah. And even then they're beasts at 6.
I think.
What'd you say? But
he's
he's still like a ganking threat, even pre 6.
I would prefer something like Nocturne to Kane, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
They clear out about equal speeds, but one has a very unique utility, and the other one is Kane.
Was Amumu ever like super meta?
There's a time where everyone was picking it with Misfortune.
Well, you would pick it and you would Q-max.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you would just one-shot people. Because you would go, remember that shit? You would basically go like Doran's ring in the jungle with him.
Yeah.
Or something, it was something like fucked up like that.
Why is no NA org attempted to put a mixed roster into the LC kit? Because they don't have, that doesn't make them any money.
Wait, what are you talking about?
It's like
this is the Monty theory.
Yeah, it's a Monty thing.
If you really care about winning worlds, you would live in a fantasy world and you would go to Korea and compete.
And it's like, well, I mean, I'd love to lose all my sponsors and not get anything, and literally just COG said. I remember talking to Georgia one time, and they told me that the COG boot camps in Korea were some of the worst ideas ever, because although sometimes they got better, a lot of times they just spent a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like you don't make any money. Like the biggest mistakes CLG ever made was going to Korea and letting TSM take a foothold on the North American fan base and tournament scene.
Right. Whereas CLG was ahead of TSM before they did that. CLG Levy was terrible. It's the reason why, like, when I quit playing pro, I guess I don't know if I've ever talked about this before. I quit playing pro. In my email inbox, the week I quit, I got an email from one of the top Chinese streaming companies, and they said, "Hey Scarra, why don't you stream for us? I promise I'll pay you this amount in terms of salary, and you can just stream on our website." And I said no, because I would literally lose all of my North American branding just to be able to stream on some random Chinese streaming site.
Right, and to be fair, like the reason it was an issue was because like I don't think players, if you were a part of OGN, because at that part you're a part of Kespa, could stream on Twitch because they had a deal with Azubu.
Yeah.
So if TSM or any team wanted to go compete in OGN, you could no longer stream on Twitch. You are no longer in the North American time zone and audience, so you probably have a hard time reaching your fans here. Like it would take more than a single split to become good. Like even if this idea theoretically would pay off in terms of performance, it would take time. So you'd have to be there for probably at least a full year. And like you also have to have your players buy in for that. Like it would just never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing just started this year. The first time you saw Faker on Twitch was this year, and he had 100,000 people tune in.
Yeah, it took a while.
Yeah, it took till season 7 for that to happen.
What else? What are C9's biggest problems since Jensen's pretty much beast moding?
Everyone else?
That's a good.
I'll say I think Sneaky and Smoothie are mostly fine.
I think they're fine, but I think usually what happens is their top side, their jungle and their top are like the most volatile. But I also think that Sneaky and Smoothie were playing better before. Now they've kind of like Smoothie was best support last split. Sneaky was like top 3 right now. Sneaky is, I think both Sneaky and Smoothie kind of fell a little bit in terms of individual play, and that's costing. On top of the fact that, like, I think although Contracts and Jensen are having better performances than last split, they're getting less wins because everyone else got better.
Yeah, and I think the big problem, of course, is the top side. Because, like, right now, you don't even really need to put any pressure top, and for the most part, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's one of those things where, like, when someone starts underperforming on the team, it affects everybody. And so maybe that's part of it, too. Contracts individually, it's the same thing as last split. Like, he's playing fine. He actually has 100% first blood participation.
Really?
So, like, every time there's a first blood, it involves him.
I think he's playing better than last split, but it's not.
That's still a problem. Like, your bot lane hasn't got a 2v2 kill. Your top lane hasn't got a solo kill. Jensen hasn't got a solo kill. Like,
to be fair, Jensen's
full on man mode.
Yeah,
right?
it's like
I'm
20
not
CS
criticizing.
differences.
I'm just saying that, like, if you look at the fact that this team has not had a solo kill for first blood, it's a little scary.
That's actually, what a crazy stat. I think every other team has someone that just like,
oh yeah, this guy fucked up, so I killed him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like no one really hard punishes that way. Echo Fox internal scrims, good or bad idea? Oh, we talked about this before, right?
I feel like we talked about it before.
Yeah. The TLDRs, I personally think it's a good idea if they were scrimming other teams as well. So you want to do in-house scrims if you have like. You usually have 2 teams that scrim a lot of teams, and then for like boot camp situations or situations where when they refine certain play styles, you play together. But what happens is they have a team that they only play against each other, so they develop a very unique meta, and they don't have much experience with other teams. And so growth potential for both the teams is limited. And this would only work if, for instance, the Delta Fox team was top tier in a lot of how they work, as well as not even how they work, like in their improvement and all that stuff, as well as like the
it works,
challenger team.
It works under like the assumption that your coaching staff is super good.
It's phenomenal, yes.
And your challenger team, the backup team, can actually push your main team to the level that scrimming a TSM could. Because while you scrimming TSM, you're giving away information, sure, but like they're also punishing you harder than your challenger team's ever going to punish you. And you can take some more stuff away. So it's weird because we actually don't know the exact details. I haven't ever heard it officially announced exactly what they're doing, but it sounds like they're solely scrimming their sister team, which I think is a bad idea.
Yeah.
If you want to do half and half, I think that's fine.
I think that's ideal. CLG only scrims their B team once a week, and it used to be like, I think it used to be a little bit more than that. But I think that's a good trade-off. Like their challenger team scrims a bunch of teams, and they come together for like very like specific practice, like once or twice a week.
Yeah, I'm sure it's, if you've ever seen football or basketball teams, it's what's called the scout team, and so you basically make these other people play and use champions like you think your opponent will do. So like, oh shit, we're playing versus, FlyQuest. You're gonna pick Talon this game, even if you're not great with it. Like let's get a game or two against Talon. Figure out what matchups we really want to play into. So you can use, your challenger team to do that stuff, as well as being like, hey, we need to focus on late game. We're gonna farm for 30 minutes. Like you can set up situations like that. You want to do any more questions? Or you think that's good?
I'm good for now.
I'm good for now too, dude. Chat's boring.
Thank you guys for watching Greatest League Talk Show today. We'll be back tomorrow with our weekly power rankings, as well as covering the 4 best of 3s tomorrow. If you're looking to find the VOD, it's on YouTube on youtube.com/greatestleagueTS. It is TS. So it should be up there tomorrow afternoon.
And I think the power ranking is going to be pretty fun, given the fact that we now have a 3-way tie for 4th place.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, the power rankings are always pretty good.
Yeah, so make sure to stick around tomorrow for that.
Thank you guys. We'll see you guys then.
Bye, guys.
Joshua, keep watching Evo.
End screen.
All right, mute the mic and then put Evo on the big